Utah, give me 2.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Michael Govier. It is opening day eve. Are you feeling the funk on a nasty dunk? Anything could happen tonight. Oh, no. I think I just realized why someone was trying to call me again and again and again. And I'm realizing this now in real time, live. That's actually the worst part about this, I think, at this moment. Yep, I had a draft going on. And I missed my first pick. That's bad. That's real bad. Maybe that's why someone was trying to call me from Wisconsin. Who could that be? Who would be calling me from Wisconsin to try to contact me to help me with that draft in real time? This is the price I paid for trying to do this show when I have a draft going on. I am a maniac. I'm clearly out of control. Give it up for me. Yay! Oh, my God, what happened? Okay, so we're still in the first round. I got Ronald Acuna. I can live with that. That's fine. Woo! God, I am like freaking out right now. This is so intense.
Utah.
2 L's.
Give me 2.
2 Z's. Okay, getting my bearings now. I can't believe I just did that. That's so stupid. I got a live draft going on. It's an OC, 12-team OC, NFBC, and here we go. I got a friend of mine here to help me out, to get me off the hook. Hey, what's up, Al? How you doing, buddy? Welcome to the show.
Wow. Thank you, Michael.
Oh, my gosh. How you doing, buddy?
Honestly, pretty damn tired.
I understand that.
Yeah, it's the busiest time of year for us. So
yes,
opening day, things slow down just a tiny bit.
Whew. Wow, I can't believe I just did that. I've really been. I'm just going to be completely honest. Al, by the way, here, Al Melchior, our first guest of the night. That's awesome that you're the first guest. I've tried to do the show tonight without Chris Deary, who he texted me a couple hours ago. He's got strep throat. So I'm like, oh, I understand you can't do a show with strep throat. That's pretty obvious.
That's putting it mildly.
But I was going to lean on him a bit because I had 2 drafts going on right now. Not just one. I got 2 going on right now at this moment. I got a 12-team OC, and I've got a Fantrax 50 Classic draft going on. That I did not plan this out properly at all, Al. This is not wise on my part.
Where are you in the drafts?
Well, right now, we're in round 17 of the 12-team Fantrax 50. We just started the OC. I got auto-picked with Ronald Acuna, so it could be worse. Life could be worse than that.
Sure. Not bad.
So I'll be okay there, but that one just got started. So the OC will probably take a few hours from here, right?
I would think so. And as you know, we were discussing earlier, this is basically past my bedtime. So better you than me.
I know you're tired, and I'm so glad that you came by here. This makes my night, really. Thank you so much for coming by. Opening day. What does it make you think of? How do you feel? Tell me a few thoughts about opening day, and then you can go to bed.
Appreciate it. Well, I mean, honestly, it probably makes me think of going to Marlins games because that's, I think, maybe the only opening days that I've gone to. And I went to a lot of Marlins games when I lived in South Florida. So
yeah,
I had the flex pass for several seasons. So always went to opening day, but usually would catch another, 15 to 20 games. So I think people will either remember this or correct me, but I seem to remember there was one opening day. I think it was Marlins Nationals and Emilio Bonifacio. I think it was the 1 year he was with them and he hit a triple and the stadium just totally lit up. It was like, welcome to the Marlins, Emilio Bonifacio. People were very excited.
Bonifacio. I remember him well. He was a diminutive, smaller in stature guy, but he could run and
good.
Little pop.
Very little, I think. But yeah, the Marlins they like the speedy table setters, and he was theirs for whatever season that was. I can't even remember now.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like fun. I've never been to a game down there at all. I've been to Lakeland for the Tigers spring training, and I've been to a few other spring training sites, but I never saw a game down there. Al, before you go, let's welcome in another man himself. This is Mike. Mike is newer to the game. I think this is a great opportunity to welcome in Mike. He wanted to come on the show tonight. I've never met him, and this is our first interaction. Mike, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. And I got to say, I've been following your work for a while, and you're a big reason why I'm starting to get into the space. So just couldn't be a nicer guy, and I've always helped me with my stuff with not just fantasy baseball, but fantasy football. So I appreciate you having me on.
Clearly, you're talking about Al.
I don't think so.
No, that is not your bread and butter fantasy football. But yeah, Al, Al's work though, right, Mike? I mean, Al Melchior, the legend himself.
Putting him on the spot.
I actually don't think so, but nice to meet you, Al. I will definitely give you a follow. Yeah.
Oh, that actually makes my night. I like that because you think you get involved in this space and everybody knows everybody. I mean, Al's been around for a while too, so you would think a guy like that people know. Mike, no offense taken, I'm sure, Al, right? It's cool that you get to meet new people that never heard of you, Al.
That's right. Opportunities. And I mean, I've been around for a while, but there's been a lot of, new people in the space for the last several
months.
Lots of great folks to read and take advice from.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That is so cool, man. I'm so glad that Al could come by here and spend a few moments with us. Al, if I can just try to get you on the record, do you think Byron Buxton plays more or less than 110 games this year?
It's funny because I got asked an over/under on the plate appearances, and I'm probably going to wind up making myself inconsistent here because I went the over, but I don't remember what it was. So 110 games played.
Yeah,
I will go ahead and take the over on that. How many times has he done that?
How many times has Buxton done 110 games? That's a great question. I would say twice, probably, if I had to do it off the top of my head.
Well, I've got a Fangraphs tab open, so.
Twice. I'm going to go twice. Mike, you want to take a guess?
I'm going to go once.
Once. Could it be true, Al, that only one time Byron Buxton has played 110 or more games?
It could be true. 2017.
Wow. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, maybe he needs to go have a beer and rethink his life after that. I pressed the wrong button there. That wasn't supposed to be that. But that's incredible. That is incredible to me that despite all we know about Buxton and the injury history, that he's only done that one time. Here we are in 2023. Is he 29 now? He's close to 30.
He is. Good call. 29. Yep. 29, age 29 season. So yeah, he came sort of close last year, 92. That tied his second highest.
Sort of close. Look how low the bar is. The bar is that low.
Too. Yeah, he's such a good player, and he's been in the majors for such a long time now, and I feel like we've been talking about him every year as a potential MVP candidate. Every year he comes in and sets the world on fire, and then everyone's always waiting when's the day that he gets hurt and he goes on the IL. So that always seems to be the case with him, and I personally don't have any shares of him for that reason. So
likewise,
I actually drafted him just now about 25 minutes ago. So that's why I asked. For the first time this entire draft process, I finally got my first taste of Byron Buxton. So, yay.
There you go.
Pretty exciting for me. Very exciting. Al, I know you got to go to bed soon. Any final thoughts here? Anything else you want to get on the record that you felt you haven't expressed throughout this entire preseason and spring training and all the discussion about baseball? What is there left to say now?
I had this great idea earlier to make a note of all the players I wish I had drafted and didn't. But again, it being after 9:00, that's that, and most every other thought I've had during the day is long gone. So yeah, I think I'm just going to go out on a whimper here.
Well, I'm going to bring in Sam Worshing from Seattle. Say hello to Al, Sam.
I'll say hello to Sam.
Hey, how you doing, Al?
Good. Yourself?
I'm doing well.
I feel bad wearing my Mariners hat. Okay, all right. Here's my final thought, Michael. So I'm wearing a Red Sox cap. I live in Massachusetts. Have been here for 2 years. The reason I have this Red Sox hat is because when I first moved here, every day I wore my Mariners hat. And I'm not really a big Mariners fan, but for strange reasons, I have all this Mariners gear. And my next door neighbor, for our first Christmas here, he gave us a big gift package, all kinds of good stuff, maple syrup and all kinds of good New England stuff in there. And this cap. And he said, I don't want to see you wearing that Mariners cap anymore.
It's terrible. That's slander.
Why would someone say that? That's horrible. Sam, can you stand for this?
He's a great guy and a great neighbor, so I wear the hat.
Yeah, and in Al's defense, if Al moved out here and showed up with that Red Sox hat, I would absolutely bring him some treats from my store for his dog in a Mariners hat and say, "Don't wear that shit around here." So appreciate it. You know what I mean?
It's fair.
That's totally fair. Well, Al, we'll say goodnight to you. Thank you for coming by and just spending a few minutes in this very harried, wild, and chaotic intro for me initially. But I'm so glad that you popped by. It means a lot to me. You've always been so supportive and so friendly and kind. And also, if you are not aware, folks, You Mean an Album is a great show that Al does. If for some reason you've only followed Al for fantasy baseball and never listened to his music show, it is a fantastic show where he breaks down a whole new album to him. And what's coming up next? What's the latest that we can look forward to on that show?
I can say because I've done the big promo on Twitter. So the cat's out of the bag. Neil Gust, one of my favorite rock and rollers, was in Heat Miser, which is probably what he's best known for, with Elliott Smith. He's on the show, and we're going to talk about the Nigeria 70 compilation. It's really, really awesome stuff.
That is incredible. I'll look forward to that. I actually know nothing about any of that, so it's going to be a whole new experience for me. And that's one of the reasons I like You Me in an Album is, yes, Al gets exposed to new albums that he's not aware of or hasn't listened to, but we also get to. If it's new to you, it's new to me. It's a whole new experience. It's not just Al. So that's one of the, I think, the aspects of the show the most that I really appreciate.
Well, and I appreciate both you and Sam have been guests, and it's a fun thing. So I'll keep doing it, and I appreciate the kind words and the support.
Ladies and gentlemen, and everybody in between, Al Melchior.
Tours, the banquet beer.
Have a Busch, then go to bed, or have a Coors. It's your choice. I'll leave it up to you. Okay.
All righty. Well, good luck to y'all.
Good meeting you, Al.
Thanks, Al. See you later. There he goes. Too rare to live, too weird to die. All right, so Sam.
Yes, sir.
Have you met Mike? This is Mike. Mike, that's Sam.
How you doing, Sam?
Doing well. I'm down in my basement, so it's exciting. My family, I don't know if anybody heard, they've already shut the door on me and have locked me down here. So
My wife did the same. Went to bed, so I got to be quiet.
yeah.
Quiet. Listen to me. I can't believe that this is Sam's actual first appearance on the Palazzo podcast. Is that true?
Yeah.
I think it is. I mean, I only say this because I've known Sam for a couple of years now, and we've been bunk buddies in Arizona last fall. And
That was pretty hot.
yeah, that was a hot night. And those of you that missed the opportunity, I got to bunk with Justin Mason and Leanne last weekend in Las Vegas. And then I get to bunk with somebody cool every time I go on one of these trips. Sam was just one in a long line of bunkmates that are coming through the Govier Express. So I love Sam, and I just want people to know that. So
Ever. I appreciate it. That is great.
But I want to ask Mike. Mike, what's your take on the Mariners this year? Is there a Mariner that stands out amongst all the Mariners that is a must-have fantasy player who is not named Julio Rodriguez? Not named Julio Rodriguez.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say Julio to me has MVP aspirations, obviously. But
Sure.
for me, and one of my dark horses for Cy Young is Luis Castillo. I'm really high on him this year. Obviously, I think he's a great environment, good offense. Obviously, a lot better than what he had in Cincinnati. So I personally have a lot of shares of Luis Castillo. I think that pitching staff in general is going to be really, really good this year. Also a really big fan of George Kirby this year too. And I don't think he's getting talked up enough either. So yeah, if I had to pick one, Michael, Luis Castillo for me.
Hell yeah. By the way, so everybody could follow Mike at MKB Fantasy on Twitter. Also, are you doing a show? I'm honestly not aware if you have a show or what's going on there.
No, so I'm actually new to the space, so I'm still figuring out what that looks like. I think for right now, I'm just going to start doing some Twitter stuff. But happy to answer any questions anybody has. Message, tweet me. I'm happy to help out. But I'm definitely exploring that and seeing what I can get into the podcast realm as well. So obviously, I follow your work, Michael. So it's something I'm looking into. So.
Sam, doesn't that blow Sam, you are the elder statesman now. Doesn't it feel good? You could help Mike in his career now that he's starting out, because Sam, that was you once upon a time.
Absolutely. That's an interesting way to think about it. I still think I'm the new guy, right? Like every day opportunity, but
No.
Absolutely. And it's one of the things where you just do it,
Right.
It sounds like you just decided that you were going to be a part of this. And I think that's that's the hardest thing, is just being able to recognize that, we're just a bunch of people having a conversation and getting to talk about, things that aren't, end of the world, big picture, life or death things. We get to talk about grown men that play a game. And it is so delightful to get to disappear into this space mentally and to have real arguments about, is that person a breakout or a bust? Is that person going to do well? Like you were talking about Castillo, and I can't wait to see him a full season in front of a defense that plays well and in a park that supports him. He's no longer in Coors East. I also, as somebody who is
Coors.
he's somebody who I also have real big aspirations for, and I'm actually, I'm nervous about the helium that I have as a Mariners fan and the distraction that Robbie Ray, Logan Gilbert, and George Kirby are going to provide Cy Young voters, because I think the four of them are going to be the four horsemen of doom for the rest of the AL. I really think that they're going to bring it all season. And so, yeah, but I love Luis Castillo, man. That's such a great, let's go.
Munoz for me too, obviously another name. I think got a lot of buzz this year.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if he'll initially take that job, that closer role by himself to begin the year, but I do think at one point he's going to have a stranglehold on that. We're going to be talking about drafting him in the top 5 closers next year if he does indeed get the job. So
yeah.
You have failed.
We'll see about that. No guarantees. Guess who's in town? It's Robbie from the Dingers Baseball Dynasty Baseball Podcast. That is my old friend, my pal from up north, not too far from me. How are you doing?
I'm good, Govs. How are you? I came in on the Mariner chat. It's excellent. I decided this offseason, screw the Blue Jays. I'm a Mariners fan now.
Yeah, let's go.
Love DePoto.
Let's go.
Yeah. But I got to say, I was doing our predictions last night on Dingers, and Seawald will be the closer wire to wire this year, because that pressure, in my opinion, is going to just turn a guy who, 3 years ago, didn't really have a job into an elite closer, because Munoz is there. We know that. And he knows that. And all offseason, he's known that. But why give it up? If he's gonna keep getting it. And then Robbie Ray, one-time Blue Jay, project enhancement, sent off into the world. Everybody's kind of forgot Wiley Vet. I think he's ready to rock and roll and go back to Captain K. So I'm happy for Seattle. I really love to hate that AL West division. It's going to be tough because I really want Ohtani to rule the day. But it's tough because even, Texas buying their team, Seattle slowly building it, and then the Angels doing whatever the hell the Angels are doing, plus Houston still being alive, it really makes it tough. But the balanced schedule is going to be fun for that division too. They could all have really good records.
And it's real interesting that for the first time in a long time that you could see multiple wildcard teams coming out of the AL West versus the AL East. I think that the top of the American League has gotten really deep and really tough, and it's going to be a grind. Like there's 8-9 teams that really are in the hunt for the playoffs and wildcard spots that, there's only 7 that are going to go. So good luck.
Yeah, I've got Houston, Texas, and Seattle all going in to the playoffs, because it's all just kind of logical to me. I don't have the Blue Jays, but that's just because I've seen how they've been able to mismanage themselves year after year after year and not doing what the teams that win World Series do. So I'm out. They're like the fantasy owner or the fantasy GM who always talks trade, but then never makes the big one. And then in the offseason, they do like 2 moves where you're like, oh, okay, they're getting good, or they figured it out. And then the same thing next year, you come knocking and you're like, hey, I'll deal this to you for this. And they're like, oh, no, we were just thinking like peripheral guys. We don't actually want to win. So, but anywho,
you
that's
have
a lot of
failed.
Mariners talk too.
Wow. Robbie,
how are your drafts doing?
Let's see. We are in round 4 of this OC. I'm up in a couple picks, and then in the Fantrax 50, I'm in round 21. Moving our way towards round 22 here. That draft will be over soon because it's only 30 rounds. But I don't like to hear you talk negatively, but you're talking negatively about the Blue Jays? You are?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what happens when you understand the system. If you want to talk depth, it's hard to find a team with more than Cleveland. They're the one team that can take a Tristan McKenzie injury and turn it into a Will Dion breakout season. There's also other teams. that have the ability to not make a trade. Toronto's going to have to trade, and they don't have a whole lot that they're going to be looking to deal away outside of, big dogs, which they're not going to do, but they also have struggled to develop them in the first place. Manoah aside, that's a college guy. I don't want to give Toronto too much credit for him. But yeah, I mean, they're an interesting team. They're going to score runs, but like Kikuchi is just this, cloud of smoke that everybody in Toronto has just been taken in, vaping, if you will. It's just not going to pay off, man. I mean, yeah, you're in Seattle. You understand. You know what happened. Yeah. If Napoto's going to let a guy walk, you got to understand there's some warts you need to really consider here.
His problem is he looks really good in spring training. He looks really good when you look at his metrics. And when you put him in any kind of situation where he's got to actually perform with any kind of pressure, he's giving up a long ball. He's not finding the strike zone.
Well, what I had heard all off season, I'm sorry for cutting you off, was that he was working on a new pitch called the strike. And, if you look at the walks in spring training, he didn't work too hard on it. I had made the comment that if maybe he does whatever he does until ball 3, and then, if the Jays pitching coach is sober that day, he says, just throw strikes once you get to ball 3. Do not let a guy pass, do not give up the free pass. Let's see what happens in April if you do that, right? Limit your walks. Just like Fujinami in Oakland. What do you have? 17 walks in 18 and 2/3 innings? Yiper diapers. But that's something that you can prevent if you just try your very best to not throw meatballs after you get to ball 3 and force somebody to do something with it. But I'm not big on the Kikuchi and Barrios. I said last year the schedule looked very difficult for him all of April, and it was because he was going up against really patient hitting lineups. And it's the same thing that Toronto can struggle with year after year, is that their guys are trying to swing on first pitch, second pitch. All of a sudden it's 0-1, 0-2, and then they're behind. And it changes, where like Teoscar going out to Seattle could be a breath of fresh air because he'll be one of the few guys who's jumping on it. And then in Toronto, they got like 6 guys jumping on him early. So
absolutely. And that's the kind of hitter you need in Seattle's lineup. It's not a hitter's park. And so you need to take advantage of every pitch that you see that you want to swing at. And that means swinging at the first pitch if you like it, swinging at the second pitch. And I think a lot of Teoscar's success is because he is aggressive. So I'm
get your ass in there, Mike. Shut these guys up. Let's hear from you. Come on.
No, Robbie, nice to meet you. I'm actually a Nose fan. So you guys have one of our guys, Kevin Gossman, who was obviously a stinker for us, but interested to hear your take on how do you think he's going to do with that rotation. I mean, I know a lot of guys don't draft him at SP1, but maybe an SP2. But I'm high on him this year. I don't have any shares of him personally. I just think his price tag was a little high for me. But I'm interested to hear your take and how he does this year.
Well, the Gauze is like a 2-pitch guy that gets it done. So you respect those guys because they're so damn good at it. And he came last year, and I was really tempered with expectations, but he was consistent. And now the Jays have such everyone under contract for at least 2 years. Kikuchi's the one guy who's got the shortest term. Bassett's got 3. So everybody within that rotation is sort of veteran laden, and the most talented guy. And you could toss the coin if you want to say it's Gausman or Manoah. Everyone gives it to Manoah because he's younger. Right. So for fantasy dynasty, everybody wants that guy. But like Gausman could very consistently have better numbers year in and year out because Manoah doesn't have the high K potential that Gausman can have. But again, you got to walk into some bad lineups, which your Orioles no longer are, much to the chagrin of the rest of the AL. Yeah, that's right, Govier. You and your Tigers are I don't want to get too hard on them because you picked up a whole bunch of the crappy fantasy guys that I like in my deep dynasty leagues. You're calling them starters. I call them bench players, but that's okay. I like all those peripheral guys, the Nick Matons of the world and Veerlings. They can all make a dent in fantasy. But anyway, yeah. So, well, on your end there, Mike, you've got Baltimore, who's completely changed the game from fantasy. If you're in deep on your prospect stuff, I'm real curious how you think about a guy like Kobe Mayo, who I've been walking around the last 18 months picking up from everybody who's not too concerned with him. Because once this Gunnar Henderson guy started to really emerge, everybody's like, well, he's just going to be the guy. Meanwhile, I've been sitting on Ramon Urias in Dynasty for 3 years now. And I think he's about to become absolutely useless. He's going to end up in Detroit.
Yeah.
That's not cool, dude.
So sorry.
Yeah.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
I thought Gunnar Henderson. I have a couple shares of him this year. He's warning me a little bit in spring. I hope he doesn't get off to a slow start. I know he started to turn it on a little bit towards the end of spring there, but I'm obviously rooting for big things for him. But in terms of the other guys coming up, I'm really excited about our farm system. Colton Cowser, Kierstad. I mean, all those guys are going to be coming up. Mayo, all those. We have a bright future. So I'm a little pissed off that I'm going to speak for a lot of people who own Grayson Rodriguez that he's starting the year in AAA. And you know, I
didn't draft him once. I didn't draft him once. I didn't think he would make the opening day roster. That could change in a couple of weeks, but
yeah. And I also heard, you know, rumblings in the beginning of spring too about him, you know, them watching his innings and, you know, that they weren't going to have a extremely long leash with him. But, you know, at the same time too, I was just talking to my mother-in-law about it as well. Like, I'm getting hyped for Kyle Gibson to start opening day for us, you know? So like,
so there's still a ways to go, right? There's still a ways to
go. especially with that rotation. I'm not confident about that. I do have a couple shares of Felix Bautista, which I think he's going to be one of the better relievers again this year. He came on strong last year. I just hope all of the injury concerns are obviously past him. But yeah, we'll see. With all the extra wild card spots, I'm hoping the O's can get one of those. So
can't do it.
Nope.
I love the Orioles this year, but I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs. It's so competitive.
It really is, especially in the West, like we talked about, right? I mean, I could really see any of those teams winning the division. So,
yeah, it's definitely going to come down to a lot of health and good pitching. But you got Tyler Wells, who last year was possibly going to be the closer, and it was on this very night, Goves, where I was on with Ben Palmer, and towards the end of this, and we were discussing. I said, like, who's your guy? Who's your guy in the pen? And he said, the next man up is going to be Felix Bautista. So I went out in 3 leagues, picked him up, and boom goes the dynamite. I had him, Clay Holmes, that really helped to anchor. And for some reason, I also had Jordan Romano in a lot of leagues. So I had 3 AL East closers.
There you go.
But it all worked out pretty well for me, thanks to
beautiful.
This very night. Yeah, 1 year ago. So
beautiful. That's what the show's all about. Freedom and Taco Bell whenever you want it, you know?
I'm interested to hear your guys' takes on closers because, you know, I'm not notoriously one of those guys that reaches for closers in the beginning of drafts just because exactly what you just said, Robbie, is closers usually emerge. I mean, no one was talking about Felix Bautista last year, right? You know, and there's a lot of other guys that pop up throughout the year, which I think if you're smart and you play the waiver wire correctly, you can grab one of those guys. Now, you're not going to get the talent like Clase or, you know, Diaz or any of those other guys, but I do think saves are you know, one of those categories where I don't know that necessarily you can wait too long on, but at the same time too, I think you can obviously get those later in the year. So I'm interested to hear you guys' take. Are you guys, I mean, it depends on obviously what format, but are you guys, you know, one of those people that are targeting those top tier closers?
Well, I think it's format dependent for sure, because if you're playing in a save and hold league, it absolutely changes the dynamic of how many players you get that are going to be able to contribute to you. If you're in a saves only league, you have to take one of the top 8. You have to get one of those players that you feel is going to have that role. You cannot let that run get by you because you will be chasing all year long. And yeah, you know, second or third closer, right? Like we've all played that game. So second or third closer, you can play a little bit more fast and loose because there are less defined roles and there's more bullpens that are in transition. But, you know, unless like I'm in a saves and holds draft right now, I didn't care about closers because there's going to be tons of movement year round on the waiver wire for saves and holds. But if it was saves only, I would have drafted somebody in the first 5 picks. No problem.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, once upon a time, I lived and died by the, you know, proven closer until 2018 was the year in which they all died.
Yeah.
It was I think it was a bad Brad Hand year. Osuna got suspended, and I can't remember the third guy that it just all blew up in my face. And that's when I was like, you know what? This whole next man up thing seems like a good idea, or piggyback. And that's where, like, you know, Seattle, when they had a little murky closer situation, is interesting, which is now Oakland this year. The only problem is that, much like when Seattle had it, it was like, how many opportunities are you going to get? But even a crappy team can have, but even a crappy team can have a guy with 25 plus closes if he shuts the door, right? The difference between opportunities and saves But at the same time, like I look around and think like, okay, like last year with New York, Clay Holmes, I thought was really good and possibly could have an opportunity. So even in like the Surf League, which is part of the Earth League for, whatever, that big contingent, I did get dealt a bad hand. It was a bad hand job, really, because what happened was I was hurt at the end. Anyway, sorry. So yeah, you just started to look around, and Clay Holmes was one of those guys. Batista was one of those guys last year. Even Brooks Raley with Tampa Bay, I was excited because he had a 2-year deal, which Tampa Bay doesn't typically do. So I was like, 2 years, $4 million. Oh, that's big money in T-Bay. He's going to get close opportunities. And he got the first one, and then he was out. I think it was like over a month before he got the next one. And I'm like, all right, in the save hold leagues, I didn't care. But in the leagues where I was like, that could be the guy. And then this year you flip a coin in Tampa Bay, right? Is it Fairchild? Who else could they possibly go to that's got the talent actually do the run for the year? And that's when you just got to pick the team, right? Like if you're going to dink with the team, you got to pick like maybe the second guy. But like you said, Sam, get one and then work from that.
Right.
I think a lot of times too, some of those bullpens that are just really tricky, like Tampa Bay is never going to commit to just one guy, right? Between,
Right.
I know they have Fairbanks, they have Jason Adam. There are going to be some guys that we probably never even heard of that end up getting a couple saves this year. So not to mention too, I think you're probably start seeing that more often with a lot of teams. So to your point, Sam, grabbing one of those top 8 guys that are going to be lockdown closers is a fine strategy, because a lot of people are going to start implementing these bullpen by committees, keep guys fresh. He pitched yesterday, I don't want to pitch him again, those kinds of things. So fair point.
Got to draft an anchor closer, Mike. See, it says right there,
right.
Bubba's saying it, so it has to be true. Also, you got to draft skills, not roles. That's the Ron Chandler way. We've heard that one before. We all know about a bad hand job or two. Bad hand, which is a lot of fun to say, Robbie. I can't believe you nailed it in the first go. Bad Brad hand could play a factor in that bullpen this year. It sounds crazy, and I'm not excited about it whatsoever. But as Sam said, it's still Colorado. Anything could happen.
Coors.
I love Daniel Bard, and what he did for me last year as a guy I picked up to start the year pretty much universally in every league I had Fab in. That I could see was still available. That was all thanks to Reliever Recon, by the way, which is a great place to find out about the latest and greatest with relievers. Shout out to them.
Speaking of reliever recon, I believe this year's Daniel Bard is going to be Mike Fulmer, I believe, from Chicago. I think that's who they're pointing out to me. Yeah, if I'm not
what
mistaken,
Greg Jewett said?
sure. I'm pretty positive. Yeah, he's high on him this year. So
that son of a bitch.
So I don't.
I was sitting right next to him at Tout Wars. Yeah, I was sitting right next to him at Tout Wars. He didn't tell me that. He didn't tell me shit. What the hell, Greg? I got a bone to pick with Greg. I'll have to double check the Tout Wars roster, but I remember I did get Helsley over him. I outbid him on Helsley. That was fun. Look, Mike, it's been so great to have you here. I want to thank you for coming by. Your debut on the Palazzo Podcast. 2 L's, 2 Z's.
Utah.
So glad you're here, dude. This is the kind of stuff that makes what we do here really worthwhile. Anything you want to say to everybody before you sign off from the second annual Opening Day Eve Bozo Fest?
No, I appreciate you having me. And like I said, Sam, Robbie, good meeting you guys. I'm obviously new to the space and, getting into, creating content and things like that. So, I've obviously followed Michael's work a long time. So, really, really excited to be here and just be in the space and the community has been great. So I will say opening day, obviously one of the best days of the year. It's like Christmas for me. I'm actually taking a half day from work to get home to watch my O's. So good luck to you guys this year.
Wow, dude.
Good luck on all your leagues. And I'm looking forward to doing more stuff like this in the future.
Mike. Got the open invite, man. So glad to have you here. Thank you so much. Godspeed. There he goes. Bye-bye. Mike's hitting the high road. It was a pleasure to get to know him. It was brief, but I feel like we all learned something tonight. Isn't that true, Sam?
Every day is a learning experience. So, absolutely.
Bubba says, good job, Mike. Keep it up. Well, he's missing that now. He's not here to hear it, so it means nothing. It's pointless. Twitter handle, just press rewind. I think the Twitter handle was in his corner. It's funny you guys are both on at the same time because though Robbie shit on the Blue Jays, and Sam is cautiously hopeful about the Seattle season, I think that both of those teams are very similar. In fact, I really feel like they're on a similar path. And it's not because they've traded with one another. It's also just about the growth they've had and how they've both kind of gone into where they both are now as a franchise, the Blue Jays and the Mariners, in 2023. They're both on the rise. They're on the come. They're on the brink. They're trying to do something unique for each city with kind of a similar cast of characters. I mean, I know they've traded Teoscar for Teoscar, and there's a lot of similarities here. And so I think both of these teams will be really, really similar in record when the season ends, and I don't really see a lot of separation between either one. I don't.
Well, I can feel Robbie's pain as a Mariners fan because, the Mariners have put us through so much torture over the last 40 years that it's hard.
Not cool.
To get. Oh, it's not cool. Like, I've been rooting for a team that would rather make money than win ball games. I'm rooting for a team that Slocum, they traded Jason Varitek and Derek Lowe. I mean, I'm a sucker. I'm a I put money into this franchise, and they've never done anything for me. At least the Blue Jays have, Joe Carter highlights and, all kinds of memories from the mid-'90s over Mitch Williams. And so
I was going to say, I was 11 when that happened. I did get to stay up late to watch it, though. I've got there it is. It's over there. That's what I've got for my childhood right there. The 92-93 World Series.
It counts, right? Like it counts. Oh, I will badmouth Howard Lincoln every chance I get and twice on Tuesday. So,
well, who the hell's Howard Lincoln? What did I miss here?
He used to be the old COO, CEO of the Mariners, part of the ownership group, and he was just a real CS. Like, God bless him. Like, I just don't like him.
You really want to bless him? Even I don't even know if you want to do that.
Be nice about it. Yeah, he was a crazy son of a bitch. A CS.
Okay, all right, fine. You're always diplomatic. You're a reasonable human being, Sam. I digress.
Kind of. I'm kind of reasonable. I'm a Mariners fan. But the point
been a better ride?
Well,
has it been a better ride? Either one? I mean, a Blue Jays fan versus a Mariners fan in the last 25 years. Who's had a better run?
Well, the Blue Jays by default, because that's because we had 15 and 16. So we had Batista, we had a home run, we had the lack of Zach Britton coming in a critical situation in a playoff game that led to the Incarnasco home run. We have moments. But at the same time, we also have an organization that has consistently allowed talent to leave year over year, or they've done the thing of bringing in, for the longest time, they basically built what the Chicago Cubs currently are sending out on the field, which is a bunch of veterans that have high floors and very low ceilings. And they're like, here you go, fans. Here's our 3 rookies or whatever, top first 3 players mixing in with all these veterans. Good luck to you. So, they don't make the big signing. And when they did, who was it? Hunter and Ryu. Cool. That was a great 12 start season in 2020 for Ryu. And that's really been it. Yes, they have signed Gosman and they've made other signings since, but it's relative to the fact that all the contracts in baseball have grown. When they won the World Series, they were the highest paying team in MLB. So, and that was only with $55 million salaries. But that was something that I had to go back in time to find out, realizing that, they signed guys for, wily veterans who were what they were bringing in to mix with the core. But that's not what the Jays are currently doing. What the Jays are currently doing is they're like, here's another starter, the end.
Right. And I think the difference that's being alluded to is the Mariners are signing their long-term deals to their core players, that they are building something where if the Jays had signed Vladimir Guerrero to a big deal like that and had gotten behind Bichette and had really started to lock up that young core long-term, I think that there'd be a little bit more symbiosis between the teams. And I hope you guys sign them. I would love to see those guys play the next 10 years in a Blue Jays uniform and nowhere else.
Yeah, it'd be cool if MLB didn't become the NBA. With players moving every 3 years, but they locked up, Toronto locked up Bichette, I think, for 3 years because the goal is Vlad. But at the same time, you got to fill out the whole roster, right? They've got Chapman. What are they going to do with him? And then you always have to sort out your outfield. And it's the cheapest thing to do, to have the guys who are going to be making league minimum offset your big contracts. But Toronto's already loaded up with 4 veteran starting contracts, and then they punt the bullpen. And I know they say they don't. I know they're like, oh no, we have guys who we're doing what Tampa did 3 years ago. But the problem's that everybody's adjusted from the Tampa 3 years ago arm angle thing. And now, we get into the tunneling and everything else. But Toronto just seems to be consistently behind, and they don't catch up at the deadline. The last time they did that was in 15. They were not a good team in record, but they were in run differential. And Anthopoulos was like, let's sell the farm. And that's when they took David
Sell
Price.
the farm, Rick.
Remember when David Price played in Major League Baseball? They took him from Detroit and gave Matt Boyd, who's now back in town. They gave Daniel Norris. They just got rid of guys because they were like, we know we're good, but this is what we're lacking. Whereas now it seems like a lot of teams are a little trigger shy to make the deal to trade the prospects. And then every offseason, when you see a trade where you're like, what was it with Cleveland and Nolan Jones? What was the other guy who came back in the Nolan Jones deal? Wasn't Brito. He had a ton of walks in spring training with Cleveland. Anyway, you see a 1-for-1 where you're like, oh, that's interesting. Cleveland must see a much brighter future with the guy they acquired, but it was just 1-for-1. It wasn't like the future considerations, like the Will Benson deal and all that crap. And I'm like, I like these ones. Where are more of these in season? Jazz Chisholm for Zach Allen. Where are those trades? Those are the only ones you see in fantasy, but we want to see more in MLB. So I'd like to see Toronto make a few of those.
Good God. Somebody wrote an article about this trade, and they can't bother to mention the other guy's name. 5 paragraphs in now.
Oh, I'll find
nice
him.
writing. Come on. Woo! Woo! Here we go. Juan Brito. You were right. It was Brito.
It was Brito. Damn it. All these Britos coming up now. The Yankees got their starter. He's like the hottest waiver wire pickup in all the dynasty leagues because nobody owned him.
Socrates Brito. Remember him?
Oh, my goodness. Yes, absolutely.
Oh, I thought Socrates Brito was going to be a fun player, an exciting human being to watch play baseball, but that was not meant to be. Thank you, Chad. Juan Brito. That's right. Oh, here we go. You guys, this year, will you take Will Brennan or Will Benson this year in terms of productivity? Which one of these up-and-coming young outfielders for the Reds and the Guardians would you rather have? Sam, Will Brennan or Will Benson?
I'd rather have Will Benson.
Why?
Yeah, give me Benson or give me death.
Why?
Because I like the opportunity in Cincinnati. There's a bunch of crazy things going on, and it's a great park. And if he's able to hit and catch on, I think that there's some real opportunities there.
Strikeout issues? Contact issues?
Why don't you talk about positive things? Okay. He's playing center field. He's not currently hurt bad enough that he's on the IL.
Nick Senzel's coming back, dude. Nick Senzel's going to be healthy.
Yeah, him or Strasburg, who will be back first?
That's a good one. I like that one.
Rest of career, who's got more
I'll take
games left?
Senzel by a hair.
Yeah.
He'll probably lose his hair and break every arm and bone and all the things that go wrong with him. And then he'll never play baseball again. It's so sad. So sad.
Yeah, I mean, Benson was once upon a time doing good things at low levels, and then came up from AA to AAA last year, and then got up to the show, and then was overmatched because it was a little too fast. And sometimes those guys need that adjustment. But like a lot of people, when they get into the minute details of why players do well and then suddenly stop at the next level, Cleveland must have an issue because there were a few guys that got promoted to AAA who, once they were there, were not as good as they were in AA. And maybe it has something to do with Cleveland cheaping out on whatever it could be. Meals these athletes like to eat, hotel rooms or accommodations, things like that. Cleveland may very well be one of the teams who still charges players locker room fees. Who knows? There's all sorts of crazy crap that goes on, right? So maybe they went from AA where it was nice and cushy to AAA and they didn't like it as much. But you've got in Michigan here. Do you know this hat, by the way? Do you know what this one is, Govier?
Let me see.
It's tricky.
Is it a camel? Is that a camel?
It is. It's a camel. I bought it in Michigan last year on my way through, going up to Wawa where I grew up. But anyway, this is the Great Lakes Loon rally camel hat. Thank you. I was actually looking for that. Yeah, I was looking for the Mariners hat that Sam's wearing, but I went into whatever the hat store is called in Birch Run and picked it up. Oh, that one's nice. Yeah, you got it on the side too. Yeah, that hat in Canada is $65 Canadian.
Wow.
So it is not cheap.
Money well spent.
Yeah, I like that one. But yeah, so the Great Lakes Loons. So that's the minor or high A affiliate of the Dodgers. So this was Cartia's team last year. So that's why I was like, I'll get that, and then I'll follow the guys.
I like it.
Wow. Yeah, that's a cool hat. I just wasn't familiar with the camel, the loons and the camels working together to overcome.
I don't
all
understand
the
how
odds.
it comes together. Yeah, I don't know how it comes together, but it does.
That's very much inside baseball. I would say that. But we're live here on the Plaza Podcast. It's opening day eve, Bozo Fest show. We did it last year. People just show up. Whoever wants to show up, they can show up. It's fine. Robbie's here from the Dingers. Sam, my main man from the Northwest, and Rotoballer. Am I blowing that?
The Dynasty Guru, and I do stuff.
Oh, shit.
Justin Mason.
I'm sorry. I blew it. I failed you.
Shit. No worries.
I did.
You asked me between Benson and Brendan, and I answered because he was the guy that was literally taken in the draft I'm in. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm.
How's that draft going?
It's a 20-teamer. It's the Prospect 361. I'm doing it with McLeod and Rich Wilson and a couple other people. It's 20 teams, 20-man rosters, 4 bench, 16, 9 hitters, 7 pitchers. So it's going fast and furious. We've been drafting for an hour and 40 minutes, and we're in the 17th round. We've gone through 330 picks.
Wow. Is that fun?
Oh yeah. I mean, when is drafting fun? When is fantasy drafting not fun?
You're right. It's a rhetorical question. I apologize. There's no need to be asking things like that. We all love drafting. It's a lot of fun.
Well, what's your preference here, guys? Do you like to online draft, prep, and sit at home, or do you prefer to go places? I know, Govier, you've been all over North America, but what's your preference? Do you like to sit in and settle down, and like maybe even if it's like over the course of 3 or 5 hours straight, or do you prefer the slow drafts where you can check in, 30-team dynasties? Like we're in one league together where like it was like 1 round a day for the prospect draft, and people just lose their mind, but they forget that like you can make a queue and auto draft if you trust it and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, yeah, like what's your preferred draft? If you're like, I got this draft coming up, I'm excited. What's that draft? Live?
Yeah, I want to see people. I want to talk to people. I want to talk about baseball with people before. I want to have it, be done and over with by the time we're coming out of that room, so we can sit and talk about it a little bit, and then be done and ready for the season. There's so many different drafts that I do that are the longer ones because I'm in a number of dynasty leagues, so I get plenty of exposure for that. But I'm in Earth, and so we got to do a live draft with that.
What's your league called?
WRF. We're the Western Expansion.
Okay. I'm a surfer here.
Yeah.
And our in-person draft was very good. We enjoyed it. I think we ended up with 12 of the 15, and that was nice. The home league draft is another in-person one that I missed last week. It was in Stratford, of all lovely places.
Oh.
And I joined. I had to work, so I was drafting from my pocket, and as soon as I was on the clock, I was just getting texted FUs left, right, and center because I was slowing all the guys down. But I showed up afterwards to drive them all back to the hotel. So I did the social part, and then I drafted 2 players that I didn't mean to because I was busy working. But yeah, I drafted Rafael Iglesias when I meant AJ Minter, and then I had to take Minter in the next round, which just goes to show. And then I took Tyler Stevenson 5 rounds earlier than I wanted to ever have a catcher drafted. But yeah, that's what happens when you're working.
Yep. Brian, to answer your question, you have to travel so far because it's worth it.
Is it though?
Tell me you didn't have fun in Vegas. Tell me you didn't.
I did have a good time. I had a nice time, Sam. You're right. I did.
Yeah, like it's good to be able to go and see the people. That's the whole reason we do it, right? Is to not only be competitive, but to get to talk to these people that have intellectual curiosity about the game that we're watching. I don't want to talk baseball with the guy that comes and hangs out at Starbucks with me because he's going to say things like, the Mariners suck. The end of it, right? Like that's the end of the conversation. I want to talk to somebody that's like, yeah, the Mariners aren't doing very well because their drafting strategy is this, or their pitching development is this, or I didn't agree with the move that the general manager made because I felt like the money was better allocated here or there. I can get down with that. I think the Mariners are doing fucking great, but like, I'd much rather talk to somebody that has real thought about it than not. So that's why I think traveling is worth it.
Yeah, you get to be with your people. Yeah.
Your people. Who are my people? Who are your people? Do we
It's
know?
fantasy baseball people. Those are my people. Because when I'm at work and people are chatting to me about the Blue Jays and how do you think they're going to do this year, I'm like, what, you like baseball? And they're like, yeah, of course I do. I'm like, oh, okay. So we talk a little bit about it, and then all of a sudden they start talking about, you know, players from the 90s. I'm like, oh, I see. So you just like watch baseball and know some stars. I understand that, but I like to find, you know, the 40th man on the 40-man roster and be like, okay, what's his deal? You know, is there opportunity for that guy to get
What's
80
the
at-bats
deal?
this year? Yeah,
Well,
what's the deal with that guy? With Dalton Guthrie?
I don't.
Live draft. You can read the room and call out dumb picks. That's what Patrick says.
Brutal.
That's risky. That is risky. You need to know the room real well to be calling that out.
Yeah. But if it's like a home league, like if it's a bunch of people that you know and love, like that's the best shit talking that's ever existed. You know, that fills the soul when somebody tells you you're an asshole because you took somebody that they were just getting ready to take, or your pick was terrible and you disagree. Like nothing makes me feel better than those kind of disagreements. I feel love and respect when somebody says you're an asshole and you know that they mean it with love.
Oh, it's all about
Absolutely.
love.
Like if you know a guy loves one player on his team and you've got a player that in theory is better, and you can offer safely without worry of him accepting, you can offer the trade to him knowing that he's going to like be really upset the fact you offered him the player for the one that he loves. Like I offered my Acuna today for Julio Rodriguez, and I'm like, I know he's not going to take it. I know he is not going to take him. But last year he drafted him 3 picks before I was about to take him in our like home league where you get 1 keeper. So he became a keeper for him. And I thought, well, I've got too many outfielders already. I picked up Michael Harris. I've got Soto. I've got Acuna. I got 3. I got too many Braves in general in that home league. Gotta move some bodies out. So I'm trying to make aggressive trades. But when it doesn't come together, I love Razzin home league guys because I know they're not going to trade. Like we got a bunch of Detroit fans. So at some point this year, and Jays fans, at some point this year, Ricky Tiedemann is going to be drafted, even though he's not going to play. It's just someone's going to take him. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be the guy, and then I'm going to trade for one of their, you know, mid-level relief pitchers, and this is going to be good. Oh, Grandpa, exciting!
Hey,
Oh
Grandpa!
my goodness!
My man.
Hello, Govier. Can you hear me?
Oh, of course we can always hear you, Grandpa Ron. It's a pleasure to be graced with your exalted presence.
Hello, Robbie Baseball and Sam.
Good evening.
Hey, Grandpa.
Grandpa, how you feeling about opening day? You excited? You getting hyped?
I'm so excited. I'm really excited. I have a World
Calm
Series
down.
prediction
Calm down.
for you.
Slow down. Slow down.
I want to jump to my World Series prediction.
Oh, okay.
I gotta have a repeat. Give me the Astros.
See you, Grandpa Ron. Thanks for coming.
Not once, but twice, Govier. Give me 2.
Oh, yeah.
Utah. Give me 2.
There you go. There you go. The Astros are not going to repeat, Grandpa Ron. You are wise and all-knowing, but it's not going to happen again. I'm sorry.
They're pretty good. They replaced the 2 of their problems on offense, catcher and first base, with Jose Abreu, and Yainer Diaz is going to rake this year. Like, fucking scared of the Astros. They are good.
Really?
Oh my God, yes. Grandpa Ron's no idiot. I hate to agree,
no.
but he's not an idiot.
I love Grandpa Ron, but I mean, I think it'll be interesting to see how it changes. No Altuve for 3 months. Justin Verlander's gone. I know they got a lot of talent still. Robbie, what do you think here? Astros, hell yeah?
My favorite Astro right now is Corey Julks, who just made the roster, because I love the fact that they rebuilt him last year. So I'm excited for him. But they also had Jose Siri a year ago, who I was super excited about. And then they just wouldn't play him and booted him out of town. So I'm anti-Astro. Sorry, Grandpa Ron. Sorry to hurt your feelings.
Wow, dude.
Yeah, Grandpa Ron has been through a lot, and he's taken plenty. So don't worry about it. I'm going to lock it in for you then. I disagree, but I'll give it to you, Grandpa.
Flawless victory.
Congratulations. There you go. As we welcome in 2 newcomers to the show, we got Jamie, a first-timer.
Coors.
From there's the quarter button. God damn it. Hit the wrong buttons. I got too much going on here. Jamie's here live. Welcome in, Jamie, from Out of Rhythm Sports. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, I'm actually not too bad.
Nice little Saturday?
Yeah, not too bad.
Woo! Oh, someone else got their own button. Chad, is that you? What's up, Chad? How you doing?
What's up, guys? It's good to finally be on the YouTube side of things for a change.
Yeah, it's way overdue. We're finally meeting each other. I've never actually seen you, so this is my first time seeing you in real time, in real life. And I got to say, it's a pleasure. It's way overdue, and welcome to the BOZO Fest 2023.
Well, I have to apologize. I have a face for radio and a voice for newspaper.
Wow. I'll lock that in. That's fine. Jump in here. Grandpa Ron is predicting an Astros repeat, Chad. What do you think?
Yeah, I asked if someone could find him as Metamucil because of how shit of a take that was.
With these the new rules about stealing bases and bigger bases, 2 pickoff throws, I have a deep sleeper. I know most drafts are over, but he should be on your waiver wire. The speediest man alive right here. His name is Ricky Henderson.
Oh, well, looks old.
Does he have a
signed Polaroid picture? I drafted him as a young man in 1979 in my first dynasty league. I rostered him for 15 or 16 years. Favorite player ever. With the new rules, I think he could make an impact.
That's a bold take, Grandpa Ron, but I think it's reasonable. I'm going to lock it in. There you go. Let's go over to Jamie. Astros repeat this year, in or out?
I'm in on that.
Why?
Why? Because they're just good. You can't, look at their pitching. They're good. I mean, I don't actually, well, hold on. I actually don't have any of their pitching, but they actually have good pitching. I like their pitching. I like, I think it was, wasn't it Robbie Ray? No, that wasn't Robbie Ray. There was actually, it was. It had to be Robbie Ray, who actually went from them to Seattle. I like that. I like Robbie Ray. No,
well, he left Robbie's team in Toronto, but yeah.
Yes.
Same just.
Yes.
A lot of Robbies involved. It gets very complicated when there's so many Robbies.
There's actually a lot of
Robbie
cruises.
knows.
There's actually a lot of cruises as well. I'm like, geez, where are all these cruises coming from?
Well, it all started a long time ago with Jose Cruz generations ago.
Yeah,
and then Jose Cruz Jr.
Yeah, oh man, I really thought he was to be something special, Robbie. That did not take. Well, that's okay.
It did not.
Let me go around the room here, Robbie. World Series champion. Did you get on the record by giving me one, or did I miss it already?
No, I did not. I'll do that, and then I got to bounce because it's April in Ontario, or almost. So I got to go shovel, so I can get out to a game this weekend. But I've got Milwaukee and Cleveland. I know it sounds exciting, and Cleveland in 6. You can't beat the depth. And get ready for a big season from Bell, everybody.
Damn, that's pretty intense. I like Cleveland to win the AL Central this year. As a guy who lives in the Detroit area, I fear Cleveland greatly, and I think Chicago White Sox will be better, and of course the Twins will be improved. But I like that pick, man. I think the Brewers' pitching is really, really, really going to be their strength this year, as it always is.
Well, they might become Platoon City too. Like they've got so many options, and with Mike Brousseau, who really cannot hit MLB pitching consistently, but in spring training, I don't know what the hell happened. So if they can find that magic, they were willing to let Hira go so that they could bring in Luke Voigt. There's a plan in place here. Bryce Trang's up. We've got outfielders coming. Taylor, who's going to be back at some point in May. They've got depth, and that's what I'm banking on this year. Teams with depth. If the ones who need everything to go right seldom ever win your fantasy league. So I don't think it's fair that they should win an MLB. So there we go.
I'm going to lock it in. That's wonderful. That's a
flawless victory.
Congratulations. Robbie is the best. Robbie from the Dingers podcast. Robbie and Ty, my guys. Hope you have a wonderful 2023 season, Robbie. It's great to have you here.
You too. Good luck to everybody.
Thanks for coming by.
Yep. Take care, fellas.
Bye, Robbie. As the audience sends him off into the night, we're live here on the BOZO podcast. 2L2Z's. We are doing opening day Eve BOZO Fest. We're talking whatever you want to talk. You got something you want to drop in the live chat? Hit it up here. We got Donovan in the house. What's up, Donovan? My main man. Look at this panel of studs. Yeah, we're very studly, I'll say that. Brian says Rogers could be frustrating. Yes, very frustrating. Sam, you want to get on the record with the World Series pick?
So I'll give you what my head says and not my heart. because I
Yeah.
even say those words out loud as a Mariners fan. I believe that Houston has the best team in the American League, and I think that San Diego is going to put everything together this year, and San Diego is actually going to beat Houston in the World Series in a slugfest. They're just going to absolutely demolish all Houston pitching. And I'm a huge... I think Houston's got great pitching. I think they've got great depth, but I think San Diego, in my head, has got everything that they need. And they've got that it factor. I've been watching them all spring training, and they just look relaxed and just they're ready for 6 months, man. They're ready to go out and do some shit. So I'm looking forward to it. I think that the Yankees win in the AL East. I think that the Braves win in the NL East. I like your Cleveland pick for the Central. I think that their infield is second to almost nobody in all of baseball, and people are going to be aware of that with Jimenez and Rosario up the middle this year. I don't know who's going to be wild cards. There's a bunch of teams that I like, but the Dodgers might not make the playoffs this year. I really think that there's enough depth in the NL, and they didn't do enough in the offseason this year that they could be in trouble if their young talent doesn't take off like it's supposed to. So that's the boldest thing I'll say, is that I think the Dodgers could be sitting watching the playoffs from the outside this year, especially if their young hitting does not do what it's supposed to do.
I'm with you on the Dodgers, man. I've been crapping on the Dodgers in my mind. If I haven't said it aloud, let me be clear. I agree with you. Their roster does not look as dynamite this year. It looks like maybe they're taking a year off to prepare, maybe with Ohtani in tow in 2024. So I'm all about it, dude. I think the Dodgers are really going to look at a difficult division, because even the Rockies and the Diamondbacks,
Coors.
they're going to be scrappy teams that are annoying.
I can't say the Rockies seriously, but the Diamondbacks absolutely. And the Giants, you never know, man. Farhan is a crazy genius, and so shit could be wild in San Francisco. So
wild. I agree. It's going to be fun. I'm excited for this season. I'm so excited. Who else is excited? Anybody?
Actually, I am pretty excited. I'm actually pretty well. I'm a newbie here, so I've actually been into baseball for like the last 3 years. So I've actually been. So the funny, crazy thing is, I've actually never touched baseball ever. So like 3 years ago, when we had all this COVID stuff, is actually when I actually got into baseball. I was like, all right. So I had a guy. He's like, "Hey, you want to try baseball?" I'm like, "Sure, why not?" So it was something different. Football was out, and I'm just like, well, sure, let's give it a shot until football comes around. So then I ended up getting to baseball. I actually won the first time, which was half a season. I actually played a full year. Just
a win's a win.
I failed on that because there was a lot of things that I actually didn't know, or actually now I learned quite a bit on when it comes to draft strategies. I've actually learned to make sure you actually get some decent pitchers. So I learned that, even pitchers with 2 starts. So, I actually learned quite a bit in these last 3 years. I'm not a pro yet, but, I'm still learning along the way.
Well, and watch out, because the difference between baseball and football is immense. There's so much to pour over with baseball. It's really easy to get lost in details. In football, it feels like a Plinko game anymore. Like you're just at the top of the Price is Right, ready to drop
right
thing. Like who's going to get injured? What's going to happen? You don't have that lack of sample size when you're looking at baseball, and it's really...
I have to totally agree with you. If you look at football, it's so there's so many guys in one roster, but when you get to baseball, there's tons more. You're just like, geez, you're just like in awe, because you can. Like one of these other guys said too, there's so many players on the waiver wire. You can actually pick up it during the season, which for actually playing in my second year, I think it was, I actually jumped into a 20-man league last year. And, Govier actually kind of heard a little bit of this, because I was that random guy in the Discord, just like, hey guys, I'm in a 20-man league. And no one's like, you're playing a 20-man league? Just never heard of it ever. So, I was actually at the bottom of
yeah, that's big.
It is. I was actually at the bottom for the longest time, and next thing you know, my guys actually start hitting. Players are actually get hot, next thing you know, I actually finished 7th out of 20 people. So I actually learned a lot more. Getting into a
Woo!
deeper league, and then a 10 or 12-man league.
Right.
That's a positive story of hope. I like Grandpa Ron. You got to love that.
I absolutely love that. I'm new to the rotisserie style myself. I was a head-to-head man for many years, so that's it's fantastic. There's so many things. You can learn new things in different formats every single year. I love it so much, and congratulations on joining up a few years ago. That's fantastic.
I thank you. Appreciate that, Grandpa Ron. Hey, I had a quick. So, do you guys think points leagues are similar to Roto to a point?
Kind of.
No, very different. Oh,
You
kind
think
of.
so?
Go ahead.
Well, so I'm in a points league that I've been in a head-to-head points league that's like my home league. I've been in that league for over 20 years, and so it's really easy to see players that are sticking out that you might not figure in rotary because you're rotisserie, because you're looking at stolen bases, you're looking at home runs, and you're not. I find it's easier to miss out on players that are performing well over a number of categories, but aren't sticking out in any one or two or three of them. And so
Yeah.
I like that perspective of it. But no, I do agree with you that there's not a lot of similarities in the sense that point leagues are all scored differently, and rotisserie is become this thing where, are you a traditionalist? Are you saves only? Are you wins only?
Yeah.
Are you batting average only? Or have you gone into, on base and saves and holds and quality starts, and, where there's so many different offshoots of it that it's like history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes.
Yeah.
Fantasy baseball doesn't. All of them are a little bit different, but they all, I can pick up that tune. That sounds similar to this. And once the player pool and you've developed a sophistication with, like we were talking about Brennan and somebody else earlier, like what's their hit tool like? What's their fielding? Are they going to have opportunity to play? What's their, home park situation? Are they going to be in a platoon? Yep. Like, how does that all go? You really start to figure out, even though this is a platoon guy, he's valued rotary system because I know that I'm going to need stolen bases versus he sucks in a points league because I just need somebody that I'm going to plug in and is going to get at bats every day, every game.
Yeah, and that's the kind of thing too. I thought it was kind of similar to Rose because when I was drafting, because I did a few points leagues, and I was this year, and I was just trying to see because there's a lot of similar categories. I mean, you got your saves or your stolen bases, home runs, some of those things that where you want to build up on to get the most points out of a lot of your leagues. So I haven't really played in a lot of these rotos, so I was trying to get an idea of what roto was if it was similar to kind of a points league or not, or if it there was a lot. I know there's a lot of difference in between them.
The other one usually with points league is you get a playoff system where you can have a team that's super dominant all year, and in their first head-to-head matchup in the playoffs, and they're not doing anything. In Roto, one of the people even commented on the screen while we were talking about this. Roto is a 6-month grind that you're really going after it, and you have to be paying attention to all your categories, and there really isn't an opportunity to just carry a dead roster spot, especially if you're playing on like an NFC platform where there's no list places or anything like that. Like you really have to pay attention the whole season. There's really opportunities to move all year, all 6 months.
The 6-month grind reminds me of my summer abroad when I was part of an exchange student program in 1963 in France. It was a wonderful summer. Out of rhythm, one advice I would have for you is don't be afraid to make trades as a new player. One thing that my friends never let me live down. It was 2002. And I traded Barry Bonds for Scott Rowland. I thought, I got to get younger. Bonds is so old, but he had 3 beautiful years left, and they still rib me on that to this day. But a decade later, I made a great Jose Reyes trade. So things can go good, things can go bad. There's ups and downs. It's just doing the research and watching the games and the camaraderie. That's what it's all about. And Govier, thank you for having me on. I have to check out for the evening, but all of you, please be well.
Thank you. You too.
Grandpa Ron. We love you, buddy. Bye-bye, Grandpa Ron. Be well. Have a Coors on us, or maybe a Bush, or whatever you feel like. Whatever it is. Enjoy it. There he goes. Chad, you have a lot of advice to offer in this arena. Come on, chime in.
I was about to chime in. I actually have some breaking news.
Whoa!
I'm very, very happy to be able to announce this. Jeff Bassan tweeted 15 minutes ago, a deal is in place between the minor league players in the MLBPA and Major League Baseball on the historic first CBA for minor leaguers.
Yeah,
5 years.
Woo! That's exciting.
And this is the big part. It includes at least a 2x pay increase at all levels of the minors.
That is
Really?
That is one of the most exploited groups of human beings I've ever seen. I love that they are getting representation. When I found out that they are responsible to sign their own leases as they go through the minors, and that a lot of teams don't protect them as they get moved up and down, that they have to suffer the financial ramifications of breaking those contracts and whatnot. My heart went out to that whole group of people, because we really love watching the product that they produce on the field. So that's awesome news, Chad.
Yeah, that's for I've been trying to hold back tears because I've known so many minor leaguers that have struggled, and it's long time coming.
Yeah, you have to kind of think about it. Some of that is similar to like a lot of these college players too. Now they can get money before they even get to the NFL. So I mean, this is good. This is good enough. This is good for a lot of these minor leaguers.
Yeah, I mean, it's not big money, but if they're doubling and whatnot, the factor of what they're paying these players, that's going to be a big deal, because there's only a handful of them that get signed for any amount of real money coming out of either college or high school or from outside of the states. That there's very few of them, those J2 signings or college signings, where they get real money. It's always like, here's $50,000. Good luck for 5 years.
Absolutely. You're right. It's totally bogus. So that's great news, Chad.
Yeah, and from what I can tell, it mostly doubles. But then there's the big one is the complex leagues. They go from making like $5,000 a year. They're going to make about $20,000 a year now.
Okay. Well, I mean,
and that's where you get all those 16, 17, 18-year-olds coming from overseas. They start in that league. They don't have any money to begin with in most cases.
Yeah.
They need that
to
make it through.
Well, speaking of somebody
we come here to talk about minor leaguers.
Of course we did. That's big news. I'm glad you shared that with us. Thank you, Chad.
We came here to be bozos. Let's be bozos.
Yeah, let's be total bozos. And I can't think of a better bozo to bring aboard than the man himself, my bunkmate from last weekend. We and Leanne, we shared, I don't know, combined maybe 20 minutes in our hotel room together. Justin Mason.
How you doing, buddy? I dressed up. I'm wearing my my blue tuxedo t-shirt or onesie.
You look great
for your bozo-thon.
I'm just over here thinking what a hot 20 minutes that must have been.
Oh yeah.
I should have actually put on. I actually should have put on a Hawaiian shirt for this because with all this fun going on. That's what I should have done, but I didn't. I'm kind of back to the future here, so.
Oh, that's okay. Justin, you got to be thrilled about that minor league money coming in, right? That's fun.
I mean, sure.
You just showed up, so we were just talking about how there's going to be money for minor leaguers, but it's still not a lot, but it's more.
It's not enough to let them live a comfortable life while they play baseball. For a living. So, I mean, you're going to still see some minor leaguers have to have off-season jobs and things like that. And, they've limited the amount of minor leaguers there are by eliminating teams, in order to try to quote unquote pay for this. I mean, it's all a farce. These teams make so much money that if they wanted to make sure all these guys were living comfortably, they absolutely could. And they just choose not to because they want to line their pockets.
Holy smokes, Justin Mason.
Well, but
literally smoke. Zing.
Literally.
How about that?
Being under the protection of a CBA is at least a significant step in the right direction.
Sure.
It's not hell on earth.
The problem with the CBA in general is it's written by or it's agreed to by like the major league players, right? So like in the major league players, they're not having to deal with that crap anymore. So like it's not on the forefront of their minds to make sure the minor leaguers are getting as good of a deal as they should be getting.
That's fair. I think that's a good reality check. This is Chad. Are you sad now? Is Justin bumming you out?
Not so much, because I do know there were minor league reps on the discussions, and they had a hand in signing it. So it wasn't completely out of their hands. But he's absolutely right. It's still not enough, though. The complex league jump from nothing to 20 grand is legitimately game changing for guys that are only going to be there 2-3 months anyways.
Yay! Okay, well, that's a positive. We'll take that. Well, we got two newcomers blowing in here and taking over the world. Right here on the Palazzo Podcast, 2 L's, 2 Z's.
Utah.
We've got...
Give me two.
The newcomer. Well, he's not a rookie anymore. This is year number 2 in fantasy baseball, at least as an analyst. It's MLB, Fantasy MLB Today, Joe Orico. What's up, Joe? Welcome in.
Mike, it's always great when I come on because you got the great soundboard. Man, how you doing? How's everybody doing?
Hey, actually doing pretty good.
Nice little Saturday.
Wow, dude.
I got to tell you, Joe, we just did a show last week, me, you, and Bogman, and we were talking about ADP battles. And I want to bring up something about that momentarily, but I'd be remiss if we didn't go right to Greg Jewett, who made the effort to show up tonight. He told me he's a teacher. I know he's a teacher. He works his butt off. He gives everything he's got and then some. But he actually made time for us tonight here, late night style. Let's all get over Greg, reliever Recon Jewett. What's up, Greg? Is your sound coming together? I see that you're muted. I'm going to vamp on this for a second until you're ready to speak with us in real time. But those of you that know Greg knows not just relievers. He's in Tout Wars with me. We're going head to head. We sat next to each other at the auction that we did in New York City 2 weekends ago. Isn't that right, Greg? Or not. I swear it happened. I'm not kidding. I was there. Justin, I was there. Joe, I
believe you. I saw you. I saw you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I saw you there too. This really happened. Justin, do you think that there's an advantage or a more enjoyment to the live draft experience? Because we were talking about this earlier. Would you rather draft in silence, in your office, in the dark, or like we did in Vegas last weekend at the main event?
I mean, I was talking about this yesterday a little bit. I'm trying to remember exactly where I was doing it, but I think there is, a distinct advantage to like drafting at home, right? Like there's less distractions. You can have as many materials and things as you want. I think there's also some advantage to drafting live, especially when we're talking about like a main event versus, at home versus a main event, live. And I think one of the issues, for at least NFBC live events is you get breaks in, a main event in Vegas.
That's true.
Right? Like after my first 10 rounds, like I did not like my main event team. And so I was able to take a 10-minute break and kind of reevaluate things and kind of figure out, here's what I need to do to kind of recover from my less than desirable start. But I think you also get a higher level of competition when you're drafting in a place like Vegas or drafting in a place like New York. There's just no easy leagues where online you will find easier leagues. So I think there's negatives and positives, but man, it's so fun to do those live events. If you are an NFBC player or just like if you're a home league, like don't be drafted online. Like get together with these people because there's just nothing better than, especially an auction. Like doing an auction online sucks, but doing an auction live is just amazing.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, Joe. Have you done a live draft recently? I mean, you've been sitting down with the bros or peeps doing some drafting, or you've been sitting in your office by yourself beating off?
No, well, yeah, that's pretty much my.
I mean, that's fine. That's very healthy. It's very healthy. It's okay.
That's pretty much my daily cycle here. The last live draft I did was actually at First Pitch Arizona. All my drafts this year were online. Even my home league, we were kind of spread out like a bunch of hobos all over the place doing it online.
Oh,
last time I did a live draft was the FPAS DC that we did in I think it was a Saturday in Arizona. I want to say.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's an annual tradition. A lot of people talking shit. They're already making their picks, think they know everything, but it's only November. But yes, there's a lot of fun to be had there.
And that team, I love that team other than Jose Altuve. That team, I got Strider, I got Gosman, I got Corbin Burns. Like I love that team, but Jose Altuve is going to screw me there. So we'll see what happens.
Minor detail. Don't fret, Joe. Hey, Greg, my man, are we okay now? Everything copacetic?
Yeah, when I plugged in earlier, my headphone, nothing was working. So I just logged off and logged back in. Now I'm good.
Hey, Greg, I want to.
Nice.
Oh, my God, I'm already losing my voice. I want to thank you for making the effort here. I know you got to get up. You got life to live. In fact, Al Melchior was the first guest on tonight's show. He started this thing off, even though he goes to bed at like 9 o'clock Eastern time. So just know, Greg, that you're not alone, okay?
Never. Actually, speaking of Al, I just finished my post for The Athletic for tomorrow, so I can actually go to bed after this. It'll be nice.
What do we, if we don't subscribe, what are we missing out on?
Well, first, you're crazy because it's only $1 a month right now.
Okay.
It's just a reliever primer. I mean, nothing's happened yet. Of course, I say that, and tomorrow is just going to be a Donnybrook, but and that's basically the genesis of the article. I just went through my projected, high leverage pathways. I just did it by team, AL, NL, and then I just put some, some guys that you can stash with the weekend on the horizon, and a couple of closers I'm worried about, and then just some other guys that, just a little 3 guys that did well, a couple of guys that struggled, and just some other things to keep an eye on. And then I hate rankings, but people love them. So there's tiered rankings for saves and solds, but the lifespan on those is about 12 hours.
Greg, who's going to have more saves this year? Will it be Alexis Diaz or Duran from Minnesota?
Alexis. Yeah. Again, I love Duran. I just don't love how Minnesota. I mean, Minnesota would probably wedge in Griffin Jacks if Jorge Lopez falls apart. They're not going to pay the guy. We all know that he could be a top 5 reliever. It's just we don't know if Minnesota will let him, and that's the thing. Last year everybody wanted him to be the closer, and they didn't do it.
By the way, in the corner here, you'll see Dave McDonald. He's drafting, but he is here. So let's give a round of applause.
Coors.
A Coors, too. Have a nice cold Coors, Dave. And round of applause. I muted you, Dave, because you were busy. But yeah, there it is. Thumbs up. Great. He acknowledges us. We're here. It's good to have you here. Dave McDonald. Follow him on Twitter, Less Than Dave. He's a very, very even-keeled human being who has a lot of respect for humanity. Very misunderstood. I love Dave McDonald.
I love how Dave's arm being split screen the wrong way.
Okay, I thought that was just me seeing it.
No,
it's not.
Into the guy in the background right there. It's perfectly.
Well, Justin, you're used to this. He does this on your guys' show on Friends with Fantasy Benefits. So
yeah, I keep saying I need to buy him some sort of camera because this is ridiculous.
Yeah, we should have put $100 on red and roulette, and then just bought him a webcam in Vegas.
Yeah, I probably should have used my poker winnings, but
I got a question. I got a question for all you guys. I'm kind of a newbie into this. So what can a guy, like a person like me, do to learn rosters or learn players without being overwhelmed?
Anybody want to take this one?
That's
a tough one.
Do some really, really deep drafts. One of the ways I really kind of learn the player pool at the beginning of the season is I'll do one of those 50-round draft and holds on NFBC, because by the time you're getting to round 45 and you're like, oh my God, I don't even know half these names anymore. You start learning that pool pretty quickly. So other than that, I mean, it's just studying. I mean, and that's it. But there's always going to be players that come up and you're like, who the hell is Dylan Dodd? That wasn't a name I heard until 2 weeks ago. So
that's fair. Round pick.
Yeah, exactly. And he became a hot commodity at the end of main event drafts. You just have to put the time and effort in.
Limit your sources. Yeah. Well, it was just kind of like, last year we had Michael Harris and we had Von Grisham, we had Brett Beatty come up. So those were those were guys like I knew nothing about, but I ended up having a couple of those guys actually on some of my teams. So that's just like,
well, dumb shit's gonna happen though. Like John Bertie's gonna steal 41 bases. Nobody called that ever.
That's insane. Well, like
Daniel
a lot of
Bard,
us,
34 saves for a team that wins 68 games.
Yeah, exactly.
Except reliever recon, Greg knows. Hey, Greg led the way on Bard last year. Full shout out to reliever recon on that one.
I mean,
Thank you.
And like James Anderson, like he was talking about Michael Harris prior to the start of the season. He was like probably the only person talking about him, and so like there are people who know especially like these minor leagues like so well that like you'll get to hear these names. And like I play a little bit of Dynasty, but I'm not like huge into Dynasty necessarily. But I'll listen to some of these prospect podcasts because you never know what name might end up like coming up. I mean, the year Max Muncy made his debut, like nobody was talking about him. But if you picked him up, like he helped you win your league. Or Michael Harris last year, another great example. These guys that kind of come out of nowhere. So, I mean, you shouldn't be expected to know everybody. That's just, I mean, I think we like to pretend like we know everybody, but I think one of the best ththings to say as an analyst is when you don't know something, just I don't know. I'm gonna look into it, but like, I've never heard of Paul, Spear or whatever guy comes. I don't know, whatever fake name comes up this year.
Paul Spear is my favorite. I wrote about Paul Spear.
Yeah, see?
Hey!
6 months ago. I
Of
wrote
course.
2,000 words on Paul Spear. Why he's the guy.
2,000 words, man. The Athletic just yelled at me. I'm supposed to keep my columns 2,000 words or less.
What's up, Ben? Ben Palmer's here. Ben, you were here last year. So glad to have you back. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, man. You have such a depth when it comes to musical knowledge, which I've always enjoyed about you. But of course, you do know a thing or two about fantasy baseball.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Caught me mid-drink there. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm happy to be here with so many people. A little earlier than last year. I think I came on at like 11:30 or something.
Yeah.
So I put Paul Spear on your watch list.
Paul
Watch
Spear on
out
the
for
watch
Paul
list.
Spear.
There it is. John Dowd, too. Add John Dowd to your watch list, guys. Somebody was talking earlier, I think maybe it was someone who already left, that it was Robbie from the Dingers Pod was already on the show tonight, and he gave you credit because you were saying Felix Bautista on this very show a year ago, right here on opening day eve, he would be the guy to be the closer in Baltimore, and you nailed it.
Yeah, in fact, it was really funny because I remember Robbie being like, so you're telling me that he like pulled up his Fantrax league and he's like showing it to me. He's like, this guy who's owned in 0% of leagues, this guy is who I should pick up right now. And I'm like, look, I don't know. I think Jorge Lopez is going to get the job first, but like Felix Bautista looks like a really good closer to me and like just has closer stuff. And he's like, okay, I'm going to get him now. And he did. And I think it worked out pretty good. But yeah, no, it's.
I think we heard rumblings of Michael Fulmer being named tonight. Robbie was mentioning.
Yep. Someone started it. I don't want to know who gets credit for it, right? Michael Fulmer is this year's Daniel Bard. So that's already going around, Greg.
I wrote that like 3 weeks ago. You can ask Justin.
Oh, so you started it. Okay, great. We have the source here. Great. We can see how it all comes around.
If you are not subscribed to Reliever Recon, you are missing out. It is like one of my favorite subscriptions that I have, and it's only $5 a month. It's just like I feel like it's a necessity, especially if you play in deep leagues where you can't just easily find a reliever or a closer off the wire, or especially if you play in like solds leagues, save plus holds, like trying to keep track of those guys. One of the things like I was just talking about, like I can't remember every single player, and I am not going to be able to cover every single player, and so outsourcing some of that knowledge, I do it with prospects, and I definitely do it with relievers. So yeah, Reliever Recon definitely gets my vote of confidence.
And there's a podcast now too, Reliever Recon, right?
Yeah, Nate and Aaron do that weekly for our subscribers. Mm-hmm.
So
I come on like once a month. It's so hard. I had a guy, and I feel bad. Like one of the patrons was like, can you do more stuff about points leagues? I'm like, dude, I work like 4 or 5 hours a day on this. I can only spread myself so thin. I still have to, be a dad, be a boyfriend, but I'll see if somebody else can pick up the slack on that.
The key is do what I did. Neglect your children.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't even know where they are. They walked out of the front door and they said, "Dad, we're sick and tired of this." And I'm like, "Great, I got stuff to work on. See you later."
They're watching highlights of Trey Wiggins.
They're out smoking cigarettes behind the school, dealing drugs.
Sick of hearing about Grayson Rodriguez.
Shooting.
Nobody
dice.
cares.
You know what kids these days do? They shoot dice.
They do love the dice.
I'm currently paying the older child to watch the younger child just so I can come on here.
That's what I'm excited for.
That's classy all the way. Let's go around here. I want to get some predictions for tomorrow, just to have some fun. Opening day. Let's take it from the top. Sam, you're to my left.
Tomorrow?
You're over here, Sam. That's you right to my left here on the screen if you're watching live. Sam, who's going to hit a home run tomorrow on opening day? Give me one player.
Jared Kelnick.
All right, Jamie.
Like I say, he was playing.
We'll come back to you, Joe.
Yes.
Big prediction for tomorrow.
Home run. Who's going to hit a homer? You got a big prediction overall? If you got something bigger, that's great, but I'm looking for a dong.
I wanted I wanted to make some kind of hot take about DeGrom, but any kind of hot take involving him for tomorrow probably wouldn't be good. Who's hitting the bomb tomorrow? I'll go Matt Olson. I think he carries over what he's been doing in spring. I think he goes lefty off of Corbin.
The entire Braves lineup probably is over tomorrow.
Patrick Corbin's from the first pitch of the season. It's awesome.
Yeah, well, Justin, you want to take a Brave? They don't home run tomorrow?
No, you know what? I'm gonna not only am I gonna predict a home run, I'm gonna predict the first home run. So let's see. I'm gonna say the first home run is Michael Conforto off of Garrett Cole.
God damn it!
What?
I was just gonna say it.
No way.
100%. They're the opening game and they're at Yankee Stadium.
It's the opening game.
Slam dunk.
You take the best lefty power hitter going up against Garrett Cole and hope that his homer problem still sticks around. So it could be Lamont Wade Jr. who probably is going to lead off. So maybe we remember a couple years ago when Ian Happ led off first pitch of the season with a home run. And all the in-hat truthers, including me, were doing victory laps, and then he did 6 more home runs, the rest of the year. So, maybe it's Lamont Wade Jr. tomorrow, leading off with a home run.
I like it. The first 2 games tomorrow, as Justin just alluded to, San Francisco at New York. That's the Yankees at 105, and at the same time, it's the Braves and the Nats in Washington. So Washington and New York are hosting. By the way, there could be some weather in certain parts of the country tomorrow, so it'll be interesting to see who actually gets to play. Time after time. Opening day is always going to have weather issues for certain areas. All right, next up, a dong for tomorrow. Jamie, are you ready? You want me to go somewhere?
Yes, I am.
Okay, Jamie, give it to me.
I'm going to go with O'Neal Cruz.
O'Neal Cruz, opening day dong. Let the hype train head out the station. Patrick says he remembers that Hap dong. Also, I remember these. Brian going old school. Dimitri Young, opening day, Detroit Tigers. 3 dongs on opening day. That definitely happened. That was awesome. Good call, Brian.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers. Chad, you want to switch gears from Michael Conforto, or you just want to repeat what Justin said?
I got to steal Justin's thunder after he stole my play, so I'm going really big on this one. The entire Braves lineup in the first inning.
First inning.
Back to back.
9
off
home
of
runs.
Patrick Corbin.
He only throws 9 pitches, gives up 9 home runs.
Chad, you would say that.
I'll lock that in. They're going to leave him in that long, too, so he can give a home run up to every guy. You figure by the 7th home run, he might get pulled.
It's only 9 pitches, though. You can't waste the bullpen that early.
You're right. It's a long season. That's a good point. Dave is busy right now. Greg, you want to give us a dong for tomorrow?
Wait a
Or
minute,
do you want to
Katie?
give us who gets the first save of the year tomorrow? Either way, I don't care.
I'll stay with your theme here. I'll go off the reservation. I'll call that. Wait, you saying first or just any home run?
Any home run, just a homer.
I'm going to say Trevor Larnach against Greinke.
I like that one.
Hitting cleanup.
Hitting 4th tomorrow. Run to your waiver wire and grab him real quick.
Yep.
He's gonna be like one of those chalky DFS plays because he's super, super cheap.
Yeah, he's probably gonna be what, like
fourth.
2,000?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh God, MLB DFS, settle in. God, it's a brutal season. It's a long one.
You
Alrighty.
said weather. I was gonna say, by the way, we got about 2 inches of snow here in Syracuse.
Oh, really?
Hey, look, you can come on over to where we are. We got like 14 inches of snow yet on the
No,
ground.
you can keep that shit. I'm done.
You always do. That's just a day in the life, Jamie. There's nothing new there.
Yeah,
Ben
that's all
says
right.
William Contreras dong tomorrow. Book it. New brewer, William Contreras, not Wilson Contreras, but the new Milwaukee brewer. I like that. That's a good call. I love him this season in that park. Ben, I know you got a home run for us tomorrow. Opening day dong. You are muted.
Sorry, I just realized I'm almost too late. And if
I'm here
you
to direct
hadn't
traffic.
Said anything, I could have. I think tomorrow, Rafael Devers rips a gently placed low 90s sinker from Kyle Gibson into right field for a home run in Fenway.
Oh,
it could happen.
It could definitely happen with Kyle Gibson.
I've seen a lot of Kyle Gibson over the years.
lobbing some underhand softball pitches.
Shocked.
So I guess you're not that excited about Kyle Gibson this year, Ben.
Look, actually, I kind of sort of am, just because I think he'll do better pitching in Camden Yards a whole bunch.
Yeah, that part
with the Great Wall of Camden out in left field. So I think that's going to help a lot. And just the Orioles have been exceptionally good at taking mediocre to bad pitchers and like turning them into successful pitchers by some, Sig Meidel magic. They did that with Austin Voth, and if they can do it with Austin Voth, they can do it with anybody.
Jordan Lyles had some pretty good starts last year, randomly. So
Jordan Lyles. Tommy Malone. Malone became trade bait. Like it's kind of incredible the way they can take some crappy pitchers and be like, hey, if you tweak this thing or do this thing, then all of a sudden you can be really good. So who knows? We'll see. But tomorrow in Fenway, I could definitely see Rafael Devers ripping a homer. Or you know what? Maybe I can go positive. Corey Kluber's pitching for the Red Sox. Maybe Gunnar hits a stunner over the right field wall. And maybe that happens. I'd like that.
Gunnar with the stunner.
I'd like that too, especially after the spring he had.
Yeah.
Look, I got to give credit to my fellow prospects partner, Ben Chase, who said from the moment we got into the new year that he was a little concerned about Gunnar and having to adjust to a new position and how it would impact his overall game. We'll see how it goes. I mean, spring training was a little rough for him, so if that continues, I'm going to have to give Ben more credit on that. And nobody knows prospects better than Benny does. So
I was saying, that I was out on Gunnar, coming into the draft season as well. It mostly had to do with the fact that he struggled against lefties last year in the majors. And then he also had been struggling in the minors as well. And they're going to play him. Like, he's going to play every day.
Yeah.
He may be one of those guys you don't want to play every day, that he maybe only should play against right-handed pitching. But I think they're going to give him the opportunity, which actually makes him kind of a worse value fantasy-wise. I think he might drag down your average a little bit.
Yeah, and I also, if you not to be too much of a shill for pitcher list, but if you look at
Zing,
if you look at some of our PLV metrics about Gunnar's year last year, it's not super encouraging as the year went on. There's he's good at judging the strike zone and everything, which is good. Like, he's a skilled hitter. But there are some reasons for concern. So I'm hopeful he'll turn. I mean, he's 22, so whatever. But
and the added competition behind him will definitely motivate him. After the spring Westberg had.
Yeah, no, they're gonna figure out. Michael Elias will figure out some dumb reason to keep Westberg down for his defense isn't ready until late April, and then suddenly his defense is ready. But I don't know.
Don't be such a downer on the Birds, bro.
Hey, look,
touch
we
on
have
the Orioles a little more.
We have Adam Frazier, so
Yeah. Woo!
Oh God.
We don't need. Who needs Jordan Westberg when you have the ghost of Adam Frazier?
Sam loves Adam Frazier. Sam, how much did Adam Frazier do for the Mariners last year? I mean, it was a game changer.
I'm so happy he's playing for the Orioles this year. It was so exciting this year. I think his quote was he loved sitting around watching everybody else do well to carry the team to victory. And he had a decent hit in September. He had one game where he came through, but like, have fun in Baltimore.
That's how I feel as a fantasy analyst. I enjoy watching everybody else do so well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I to clarify, I'm not one of those negative Nancy Orioles fans who just
you're not at all,
want to be
Ben.
miserable all of the time. But I will say, being a miserable Orioles fan is like the lane that I have safely traveled in for most of my existence. So it's it's just a place, it's a rut that I can easily just trip and fall back into. So we'll see.
You're probably too young to remember like the good Cal Ripken years and stuff.
Right.
Like
Well,
that.
so I remember a little bit, like I was born in 1990, so
you're not that much younger
right,
than me,
right.
so,
So in like the late 90s, I remember Rafael Palmeiro was and still is my favorite player of all time. Ripken has always been a holy name in my household. So,
got some good Adam Jones years, and,
right? But when I really started paying attention to the Orioles, like the 2000s, like the Sidney Ponson era,
the Chris Tillman,
yeah, Sidney Ponson.
Oh, God, I love Tillman.
Tillman, yeah, can't spell win with Tillman. That was one of the first pictureless shirts we ever made, and I still have it.
It's a fantastic picture, yeah.
Yeah. But so I don't know. I'm hopeful and optimistic as I've ever been. But
there it is. Ben says, Michael, we are making the playoffs. Go!
Look it, buddy. Hey, if not this year, for sure next year. Or
to give you some hope on that, my big early prediction for 2024 was not only will the O's make the playoffs, they'll make it with Jackson Holiday making it out of camp.
Holy shit.
Chad, you love getting radical, Chad.
That dude is going to go nuts all year. He looks ready already.
Yes. I think he will, but I think the Orioles are
There's the Michael Elias
cautious.
factor, absolutely.
Yeah.
But
and this is a thing that just carries over from the Astros of like really like keeping guys down in the minors and like hoarding prospects. And I don't even know if it's Elias so much as it is Sig Mejdal. The more I've read about Sig Mejdal, the more I've realized like a lot of the Orioles' decisions are like his philosophy and a little less Elias's. But
okay,
yeah. I spoke to somebody who is friends with Sig Mejdal and was like, oh yeah, this like prospect hoarding thing, that's all him. And he knows exactly what Sig Mejdal is of the belief that there's no point in trading and spending on free agents. You build your entire system from the farm, and like that's it. He was not a fan of. He wasn't a fan of the idea of trading for Justin Verlander for the Astros doing it, for example. He was like, we don't need to give away prospects. We need to hoard those prospects like a dragon.
They should be glad they did, Ben, because that trade was a steal. There's nothing from that trade in the Tiger system now. It was a waste of time. And they won a World Series, and now they won another World Series.
Wasn't Daz Cameron in that?
It was Daz. I think Franklin.
Current Oriole Daz Cameron.
Was it Franklin Herman, Franklin Govier? I can't remember. It was an afterthought pitcher that just nothing came out of it. Al Avila, you were a disappointment as a GM.
How do you feel about that, really, though?
Yeah, can I let it out here? It looks like we got a live line here to Dave McDonald. Dave, are you with us?
I'm here.
How you doing, man? Welcome to the party, pal.
Yeah.
I like how Dave showed up just to do his draft on screen.
That's the kind of guy he is, though. That's sacrifice.
Govier asked me in like 3 different DM chats and texted me, so I felt like I really kind of had to come on.
Thanks, buddy. Hey, thank
you
for being here. That's why you're the best, man.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Shohei Ohtani with a bomb off of Kyle Muller tomorrow on the day that he's starting.
Okay. All right. I like that. Dave, who you got in the World Series this year? Who's going to take it home?
Oh, God.
If you had to guess.
Man, I don't know. I mean, I really want to guess the Guardians, but I don't think they're ready yet.
He looks so good.
That's who Robbie took earlier. Robbie picked the Guardians to beat the Brewers in the World Series earlier on the show.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't even have the Brewers to make the playoffs.
That would be amazing. I would love that. I feel like from the NL, I kind of like the Phillies. I know that's probably not It's probably a popular pick. Yeah, I'll go Phillies and Guardians.
Woo! Yay! Hey, way to be bold. Hey, remember, Matt Damon said this. Matt Damon says, "Fortune favors the brave."
There you go. Well, did you pick the Tigers, Govier? That would be brave.
That's very funny.
Go Tigers.
There's no Tigers hope here. That's already too much Tigers talk. We were just talking about the Tigers a minute ago. That's enough. No more. I want to get World Series picks and winners here. Come on. All right, Sam, take it from the top. Give me your World Series winner. Did we do this already? I'm losing track.
I did Houston.
That's right. You picked.
Houston losing to San Diego.
That would be awesome. Yeah, Sam was hot on San Diego this year to win it all. Jamie, who you got winning the series?
I'm gonna go with Houston.
Oh, that's right. We did that with you too. Okay. Yep. Joe, you haven't gone yet. Joe, who's gonna win the World Series this year? You want to give us both participants or just a winner?
It'll break my heart to say it, but I think the Padres are going to beat my Blue Jays in the World Series.
Oh, gosh, that does hurt. Yeah, I would rather see the Blue Jays win, my friend. I would love to see the Blue Jays win a World Series this year. I'm rooting for you. I am. I'm rooting for you and Sam. I love the Blue Jays and the Mariners this year. A lot of fun to root for.
We don't love each other anymore, though.
I know.
I love you guys.
Yeah, Sam loves you, Joe.
Sam is a dear friend. It's just his Mariners. I can't get over his Mariners beating out my Blue Jays.
Oh, my God. That was the greatest playoff game ever.
I still hold a grudge against the Blue Jays as an Orioles fan.
Hey, Joe, it's all right. I'm a Blue Jays fan too, so it's all good.
That was a tough couple of days there.
It's never been to the World Series.
Oh, come on. Well, life could be better. It's not always great. Justin Mason, give us the World Series winner this year.
Yeah, life could be better. You could be a Giants fan. Let's see. So I had to just look up my predictions because I submitted them to Fangraphs. I think they went up earlier this week on the site.
Gotta keep it uniform. That's good.
Yeah, I didn't want to accidentally say the wrong thing. But I have the St. Louis Cardinals losing to the Toronto Blue Jays.
Oh, really? The Cardinals?
Mm-hmm. The Cardinals are a really, really good team. They have arguably the best lineup in baseball. They've got a stacked pitching staff, a good bullpen. Like the Cardinals, I don't know why they don't get more love in terms of people picking, World Series contenders. I think
they need another starting pitcher.
Yeah, I was gonna say pitching is a concern for the St. Louis Cardinals for me.
Who's going on opening day? Michaelis?
Come on, Miles. Yeah,
he's not a sexy fantasy starter, but he is a very good real life starter. And they have got
a World Series
infield defense behind them. A fantastic park to pitch in. I'm not worried about that rotation at all.
Their pitching always seems to.
You guys are worried that they lost to Adam Wainwright? who cares? Not to mention they'll probably
going on opening day.
Plus, it's Cardinals magic. They will find three or four. Jake Woodford's going to be rookie of the year this year, just out of fucking nowhere. They just pull weird shit out of their ass.
Yeah. I will say Ryan Helsley has a fabulous closer entrance.
Yeah, see.
I mean, just second, third best. His Hell's Bells playing while he walks it. That's pretty sick.
Yeah, but we can't forget Hoffman had that originally.
That's true. Yeah, he is the original.
Hoffman did it first.
We can forget that because I did. So checkmate.
I like Felix's whistle, man. That's cool.
Felix's is the best. Edwin Diaz,
I'm
kidding.
My favorite.
Edwin's is incredible. Blah blah blah. But Felix's with the lights and then the Omar whistle and then O Fortuna plays. That's the part that gets left out of people watching it on Twitter. The Omar whistle plays and then he comes out and it's the giant part of O Fortuna, which is the most epic thing ever.
Okay. I'm still going to stick with what Greg there. I appreciate both. Everybody can carry on the legacy going forward. But wow, Cardinals in the World Series, winning it all. That would stun me. It really would.
I had the Cardinals losing to the Blue Jays.
Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah, well, that's fine then. Who cares? If the Cardinals make it, it could be a miracle, but they won't
no
win
one
it.
wants to see the Cardinals in the World Series, much less
of course not, the National League Yankees.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just, the fan base is just awful. Just let's be honest, best fans of baseball, but yeah, I mean, their team is stacked, and I just don't think they get enough credit for how good that team is.
I'm with you all the way on that, except I just don't want to see the Cardinals win. As long as that doesn't happen, and I know you're picking the Blue Jays to win. I got that clear now. By the way, Brock's Monsters here in the house. We just embraced each other in Vegas a few days ago. Now he's on the internet, just like all of us are here on the Palazzo Podcast. Welcome in, Brock.
I just got my volume working. Can you hear me?
We can.
You sound, you're sexy. You sound sexy, and you know it. Yeah,
Hell yeah.
you do.
Good.
Excited to be here. Just finished my last draft. I am good to go.
Yeah, how do you feel about it? Instant analysis. Best draft ever?
Oh, that one was like a home league thing with the guys from Roto Grinders. So I smoked that one. They don't have a chance.
Yeah.
They're so
Hell yeah. Okay, Sam. Or Sam, someone has to be. Does anyone want to leave? Because someone's trying to get in, but I got to kick someone out.
I will take off because I got to go put my
Everybody.
kids to bed. It was fantastic seeing you guys. Maybe I'll jump in later after I could get these kids down.
Thank you, Justin. Love you, buddy.
It's a little bit of whiskey. That does the trick.
Bye. I also
Here he
have
goes.
I feel bad because Brock just got on, but yeah, I got to go to bed too.
Okay, perfect. Dave, get out of here. I love you. Greg,
right.
Great to see you. Greg, did we get your World Series winner?
Love you guys. Later.
I can't remember. Vlad guilted me into doing the one for FTN. I think
It's on record then.
I think I picked the Mariners over the Padres.
Ooh.
Be a lot of fun.
Oh, Sam just left. He would have loved that. Okay.
I just like I think the Mariners pitching in that bullpen, man. That's if they can add in season with what they've got in the minor leagues to get what they might feel that they need. They've got a lot of dominoes in place. When you got that pitching staff, if they can stay healthy, I think they got to cash that in. You know, they took the first step last year. The next logical step is going to that next round and then maybe squeaking through. I just don't think the Yankees can match up with the pitching, and I do like the Blue Jays in that division this year. But yeah, we'll see how it all plays. It's a long season, so it'll be fun. But thank you, Michael. Great seeing you as always.
Of course.
Sorry I couldn't
You're the
stick
man,
around
Greg.
longer, but yeah.
Oh, wow. Listen to my voice. You're the man, Greg. You sound, yes.
Yeah.
All right. You're here after hours with Michael Govier. I want to thank Greg Jewett for joining us live here. Greg, you're the best. Love you, man. Don't forget, Reliever Recon is the place. Patreon. Patreon.com. Can you do relieverrecon.com? Is that how it works? Or
It's like Reliever Recon / Patreon or something like that.
Yeah, okay. Google Reliever Recon.
Yeah, if you just Google Reliever Recon, it pops up there. At least.
Awesome. Well, I have to bounce too, Govier.
Jamie.
Sure.
Great.
Yes.
I'm so glad you came out here, brother. Great to see you. Happy
Yes.
New Year. Happy opening day, my friend.
Yes, I appreciate it, Govier. I appreciate being on here. It was a pleasure. So, everybody, it was nice meeting y'all. I got to go make some
Auto Rhythm
money.
Sports. There he goes.
Yes.
Check out Auto Rhythm Sports, guys. Jamie, my man, my friend, my supporter. Take care of yourself. Just in
Yes,
time
you too.
as Mike
Yeah.
Curlin comes aboard. Mike Curlin's going to talk for an hour straight here.
Oh, God, Mike's
in
here.
3,
Everyone, it's time to log off.
2.
We got to go.
What's up, Mike?
I'm on a pair of headphones in the middle of nowhere.
This is really unorthodox. Mike is a audiophile. He's always trying to make sure he sounds good. He's got production skills. This is sweet. You made the effort. I thank you for it.
It's because I wasn't sure. I mean, obviously, I'm glad to see you had a great turnout, but I was like, let me, Govier's a good guy. I like to come hang out and see what's going on and, take part in this. Even if it is not the best audio quality, I apologize for that. I am a stickler for that, but I did want to just come in and say what's up and
Where are you?
Just hang out with everyone, except for Ben. Ben can go F himself. Oh, hey, what's up?
Oh,
hey,
see
Ben.
you later.
Sorry. Oh, whoa.
Come on. Mike, I'm so glad you're here. Mikey, who's going to hit a home run tomorrow? Can you give me somebody who's going to hit a dong?
Dong of the day.
The first home run of the year. It's going to be Acuna off Patrick Corbin. It's pretty much like guaranteed.
That's a knife safe. That's so safe. I feel like warm, like I'm in a
but then you have
blanket.
Max Kepler
It's
leading
so
off
safe.
against Greinke. I think that's another one. I think Kepler's going to start off strong and make me feel happy.
Well, that's our second twin we've had today, and everyone's jumping against Corbin with the Braves because that makes all the sense in the world.
But you know what that means, right, Govier?
It's not. He's going to throw a shutout.
Yeah, we should be punting starting pitcher in DFS and take him.
Yep.
Corbin's gonna
Patrick
hit
Corbin.
the Braves tomorrow.
Yep, it's early. You know what it is. The ball doesn't carry. It's not even April yet. I bet
he's
something
suddenly
goofy
gonna
happens.
be like pumping 98.
Brock, what about you, man?
Really are in the middle of nowhere.
We did that last year with you, Brock. You killed it.
I'm just looking at DraftKings for the first time right now, trying to take it in, and like tomorrow the pitching, like everybody's cheap. Like, man, this is crazy. Everybody's gonna play like McClanahan, and everybody's gonna play. I feel like Max Fried will be up there because Washington's so bad. I think I gotta pick somebody off of Washington, just because Max Fried's gonna be so popular. So I'm gonna go Joey Meneses.
Ooh, okay. I like that.
1% owned home run. 1%er.
Love it. Mike made the lineup. That's right. Mike Curlin is here. Sleepy K. We're live with Curlin, Ben Palmer, Brockness Monster, my main man Chad, and of course Joe Orico, the one and only. I used to say Joe Oracle until I finally learned that it's Joe Orico, and I will never ever say it wrong ever again.
Like if you actually say Oracle, it's like a really cool nickname. Like he sees into the future. He's the Oracle.
That's true. It does sound like Oracle in a way, doesn't it? Yeah. I'm actually I want to wrap this stream up pretty soon, folks. So I want to get anything else, any predictions from you guys that are still here with me right now, anything you haven't said on the record. Who's chomping at the bit? I mean, Curlin, do you have something you want to say? You've always got a lot of words in your mouth ready to go. So come on, what else you got? You got some other predictions, expectations, failures?
I have this weird feeling, just like I feel like Volpe, as much as I really am rooting for him, I feel like he's just going to disappoint everybody who got into him really late in drafts. Just because rookie struggles, a spike in strikeout rate at the high minors in the AAA. I know he showed up early this offseason to get ready to compete, and he did, and Volpe looks great. But I really think we're going to see some early struggles, even possibly a demotion. And people are going to be very upset about that. That's something. It's just I don't root for that. I just have that. Maybe I'll be wrong. I'm okay with that. But that's kind of where I'm at with him.
Does anyone disagree?
Oh, sorry, Mike.
No, go ahead, Joe. Go.
No, I'm just saying, like the price, it just got so out of hand where there's no possible return on investment at this point. Like his main event min pick was like 67 or something. It's like there's just no room for him to beat that. It's just setting everyone up for failure at that point.
Yeah, all draft season long. Even if you were picking him at like pick 200, where he was going like a week ago, you still have that room for not only return on investment, but if he fails, it doesn't hurt as much. You can replace that. I'm more so speaking to the late drafters who we had to kind of buy the hype or miss out.
Yeah. Anybody disagree?
No, I will say it's going to depend on Peraza not falling apart after getting demoted and losing that battle. Because if he falls apart, then they don't really have a replacement in-house. So Volpe could just be bad at the major league level for a while.
This is his last option, I believe. So now if they call him up, they can't send him back down. So that is another thing. But I know Volpe has multiple options left. So they might be more flexible and willing to send Volpe down. But you're right. If Peraza's not ready, then that's going to keep Volpe's leash. I don't think they kept Volpe up not to give him some leash. I just think that, and he's batting ninth, so that's already like a 9-hole hitter isn't somebody you should be drafting in the top 100 anyway. Name another 9-hole hitter going in the top 100. I don't think there is one. Now, how long will he stay there? That will depend on him, of course, but I still think that it's just the early season, like don't drop him if he struggles early on, but just don't be surprised. There's a reason why they're batting him ninth. There's a reason why he had a great spring, but we know he can hit minor league pitching. I mean, there's going to be growing pains. It's normal. Could he be this year's Witt or J-Rod? Absolutely. But those are the exception to the rule. To say that a player's going to be the exception to the rule, it's tough because for every J-Rod and Witt, we have so many Kelnicks and Adeles and way more of those. And I think that outcome could be just as likely, although I do trust in Volpe's skill set a little more in terms of being less of a free swinger, more of better contact skills, but still, it's one of those things where we can't just expect all these guys to hit the floor running like we've seen in the past. And I know prospecting is getting better and overall analysis and scouting is getting way better and overall is improving. It doesn't mean that these guys will all be hits, though.
I'm just hoping he's Luis Garcia out of the gate. Like, that's my seal. That's what I want out of his ceiling. I don't need Bobby Witt. Just give me Luis Garcia 2020.
Wow. Well, I mean,
to be Bobby Witt is the problem.
Yeah. I don't know how you could be doing that. I don't see that whatsoever. I'm actually in full agreement with you, Mike. I really think that this is coming out hot, and if it shines and Volpe gets to shine, that's great. It'll be fun. I hate the Yankees, but I'd like to see youngsters come up and break out, but I'm not seeing it at all.
Mitchell, I didn't get enough of him this draft season, but man, like I'm really intrigued by the power we're seeing in spring. Not because I think he'll be full on power guy in the majors, but the fact that like, I didn't even notice it until I looked into him late in the draft season was he came up and Garrett Mitchell had like a 20% ground ball rate after being more of a ground ball guy like in the minors. I was like, huh. So it looks like he made an approach change already off rip when he got to the majors, and then this spring you're seeing some of that pop show. And I know it could be a little bit about where they're playing, you know, considering that's higher altitude in some parks and all that. But Mitchell, if he can add some power to that high floor in terms of batting average and slow bases he offers, I think there's some like my if you want to call it a bold prediction was 2020. But considering he's never hit that many home runs, I think it's pretty bold to say he's a 20 home run guy. But even if he gives you 12 to 15, and he's going to steal 20 plus bags probably and hit a solid batting average, he's still going to return on pretty solid investment, I think, this year. So Mitchell's a guy that I think, if you want to get like a hot take, that's kind of where I'm at with like I think I can see a 2020 season out of him if that power that he's showing is actually legitimate, of course.
Hot take. Ooh. All right. Well, who have I got everyone's World Series picks? Who else is not gone? Ben and Brock. Yeah. I don't think we've got you guys on the record. I wanted to get you guys on the record before we wrap this up.
My World Series take is boring. I think Atlanta beats Houston. It's, you know, I think that makes the most sense. It's not exciting, but you know what? Hey, Atlanta's an exciting team. Also, I'll give you a bold prediction real quick. Spencer Turnbull ends the year as a top 30 starting pitcher in fantasy.
Yes. Yeah, I like him.
I like that one.
Book it. Assuming he stays healthy. Book it.
Oh boy. So that means he would have to pitch enough innings to make that happen too.
Well,
right?
Yeah, like I said, assuming he stays healthy. But
no, I assume he will stay healthy, but even let's assume how much will he be capped, I guess. That's my only concern.
Yeah. I mean he's coming off Tommy John. He had Tommy John early. You know, there's that period right after Tommy John where guys seem to be pretty strong. I think he'll be okay, I hope.
It's been almost 2 years. He had it, I believe, in May of 21.
Yeah, so I mean he's had a lot of time to recover, and the dude is filthy. So yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot. He's a guy that's been in your I first got to know Ben through the Nastiest Pitches article, 10 Most Nastiest Pitches.
Yeah.
And he was this is like back in 2020, I want to say.
A couple years ago, yeah, he had some of one of the, I think it was in my top 10 most chased pitches article.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been a Spencer Turnbull fan for a long time. And I was really feeling like, oh, he's going to do it. And then he got hurt with the Tommy John. But he's healthy, and I think if he is healthy, he's awesome, and I think he can do it. So that's my bold prediction.
I love it. I always love Ben's bold predictions on this show every year. It's the Bozo Fest opening day eve. We're wrapping it up here. Palazzo Podcast, 2 L's, 2 Z's. Of course, Brock, I got to know who you taking.
Utah. Give me 2.
To win the World Series.
So for my World Series prediction, I'm going to go with Tampa Bay. I really like starting pitching in Tampa Bay, and I think that's an under the radar call there. People are probably worried about that offense a little bit there, but Tampa Bay is a pretty sharp organization. They always find a way to get that done, and with that the top of the rotation, those first couple guys, you know, big fan of Springs, a guy that had as much helium as any other pitcher in baseball this draft season. And then, you know, another guy, you know, Rasmussen, he kind of moved up there. And then McClanahan looks like he's back and ready to go. I'm a big fan of those top 3 guys. And, you know, watching the Dodgers over the last several years, I feel like, you know, I've learned some things about this. And you know, teams like the Dodgers that have tons of depth like that, they're really good at winning a lot of games over the course of 6 months, right? Makes a lot of sense. Somebody gets hurt, they've got a good player to put back in there. That's kind of what Oakland did for so long. That was the money ball thing, was the depth that they had. They always had somebody that they could plug in, you know, so they can win 89 games and sneak into the playoffs kind of thing. But they never did anything in the playoffs. And, you know, the Dodgers, after these 7 years that they've had so much success in the regular season. They do have one World Series, but outside of the other World Series, it's been kind of disappointing. And I think that just really takes that kind of that top end talent, and I think having 3 starting pitchers like Tampa Bay has, I think that's a pretty big advantage once you do get to October. As long as they can get there, as long as they have the depth, and I feel like Tampa Bay is a team that's going to have that. As far as like a hot take, I really want Mike Zunino for top 10 catcher. Last year was obviously not great. But he still had the best 80th percentile exit velocity out of any catcher last year. Still hits the ball really hard. Goes to Cleveland. Cleveland's a good place to hit, especially compared to where he's coming from. I think he gets a decent chance to play there. I like Zunino. I think he's going to hit 30 home runs again.
Woo! Okay. Well, that's a name we haven't heard at all tonight.
Post 400 pick. I mean, you didn't have to spend anything on him. There's always. Obviously, it's a popular thing to wait on catching especially in 2 catcher leagues or whatever. You get your early guy, get your Kirk or whatever early. But looking around the room at those guys that are available at pick 425 or whatever, that was easy. I got a lot of Zunino this year.
That's fun.
Good. Also, I missed the question in the chat: Eduardo Rodriguez or Spencer Turnbull? Give me Spencer Turnbull for sure.
Oh yeah,
I like that Eduardo Rodriguez is sitting up velocity a couple ticks this spring, but give me Turnbull.
I'm just happy Eduardo's phone is turned on this year.
Hey, that's right. Zing! Man, so glad he is. Whatever happened last, man, that was one of the more bizarre stories in recent memory, but all's forgiven. Everyone's moving forward. I love that. Curlin, World Series winner?
How do you look at the Braves and not think that they're just so set for it? They have depth in the minors that that defensive needs some defensive help, but Grissom, but they have the pitching depth. They have all the pieces at the major league level in terms of star power and depth on the bench and throughout the minors. So I think they're just an overall complete team, and it pains me to say that as a Marlins fan that there's like 3 teams in my division as a fan that it's like 3 teams that could all compete. Obviously, Philly's being banged up, but overall, I just look at the Braves and see it just a complete team, top to bottom, bullpen and all. Iglesias goes down, they have 2 options everyone's thinking of, and then even a Kirby Yates type of name that's like whatever. Like you have that, like that's what you have. Whereas most bullpens, there's guys like Fulmer and Boxberger fighting for relief appearances. You know what I mean? So I think the Braves are just unfortunately set from top to bottom for years to come. It is what it is.
Well, I have something to say about that, but real quick. Nick Anderson. Yeah, don't forget him, too. He's in the mix. Brian wants to know, should I drop Betancourt for Zunino?
Oh, Betancourt? Yes. Yep, absolutely.
Wow.
I mean, I'm okay with Betancourt, though. I don't dislike Betancourt or anything like that. He's not on my player shares like at the top or anything like that. I think Betancourt's fine, but yeah, definitely.
Locked it in. I think
Campusano is better than both.
I like Campusano some. Yeah. There's 3 or 4 of those guys down there available super late for catchers, especially if you draft a lot of DCs like I did. Always looking at catching when you're getting in that range. Campusano is a good one. He looks huge. Do you guys see pictures of him? They come in, they do the interviews or whatever San Diego does. Like, he looks absolutely yoked.
Best shape of his life.
Best shape of his life. That's right. There's a lot of Campusano. I know that in our chat, Curlin, that Campusano debate happened with Mr. John Leguizas, and he was questioning it. But yeah, John's like, isn't he a guy every year that people think is going to pop? And maybe this is the year, though.
It's the top prospect pedigree that comes with him, the team he's been with. But they've had Nola, and Nola's getting older now. Oh, Nola was like, at that weird age of like 30, 31 when Campusano's name started floating around. But now Nola's like, 33? He had like an 88 WRC plus last year, I think. So there's just no offensive upside. The defense took a hit last year for Nola as well. I don't see Nola being a huge factor other than being the second catcher / maybe gets run as the quote unquote starting catcher to start the year, but I don't think it lasts. I think Campusano is a top prospect. The Padres are always aggressive with their prospects. And Campusano is not only going to get full run, but I think he's going to take the spot from him as a whole and be better on defense, which will carry him to playing more overall.
Well, that's fair. Okay. And with that, I want to say, to challenge your Braves pick, I have the New York Mets winning the World Series. Yep. I'm surprised nobody else picked them tonight on this show through all the guests we had. I know that they've signed a lot of guys and they've got a lot of money thrown into older players like Verlander and Scherzer. And the lineup, I think, is just really, really solid. I trust both Showalter. I just think the Mets are going to win it this year. I think this is the year the New York Mets take down a World Series for the first time since 1986.
Never underestimate the New York Mets or Buck Showalter's ability to disappoint their fan base.
The only reason you hadn't heard it yet, Govier, is because you saved me for last here.
Oh, did I usurp you?
Sort of. I have them losing in the World Series.
To
the Guardians.
What? Another Guardians pick?
If you could go into Terry Francona's dreams, all you would see is this lineup year in and year out. This is the most Terry Francona team, and it's built just like the Royals team that absolutely demolished the Mets last time they made the World Series.
That's that.
And we're probably gonna have to shut the show down after this. I have the hottest take. I've been saving it all night.
Here we go.
Oh, I'm ready.
San
This is what Chad
Diego,
does.
San Diego, they're the new Seattle Mariners. They are going to miss the playoffs yet again, and AJ Preller will be out, and they'll blow it up.
Wow, that's definitely a hot take.
You can't go another year if they blow it again.
No.
Right. Yeah,
You can't keep letting him spend $300 million, $400 million, and get nothing out of it.
That's true.
Yeah, they got a lot of expensive guys now. Yeah.
God, that would be so bad because that would, like, the Padres are the team you point to if, your owner is like, yeah, but we're a small to mid-market team. We can't spend money. And then if the Padres just like, looking at you, John Angelos, and if the Padres just like fucking blow it, then like all those small to mid-market team owners are sitting
like,
like,
they're gonna
point to that.
See, they spent money and nothing happened. So why don't
Yep.
we just be the Guardians and the Rays and spend no money and trip and fall our way into the World Series once every decade?
And then I have an AL hot take. I heard some Rays love in here, but I think this is the year the magic wears off and their refusal to let their best guys shine leads them to the AL East cellar.
Ooh.
We already know the Yankees and the Jays are probably better teams. And I think
Yep.
the Orioles are just too well balanced.
You got it.
I don't.
It might only be a couple games, but
Yeah.
I think the Rays end up in the cellar.
It's a brutal division. I don't disagree with that being a possibility at all. It could happen. I just think the Red Sox are primed to take the cellar in this
Oh
division.
crap! I forgot they even existed. My bad. Your Red Sox are going to be in the cellar. I just completely forgot they were a major league team.
That's fine.
My bad, guys.
We all should. We all should just forget about the Red Sox. Also, you know what? I just remembered, even though I don't know why I forgot. For fantasy, keep an eye around the All-Star break on John Means. He's going to be back. And the guy was really good before the Great Wall of Camden was installed. Like he was good pitching in, Coors Light, like the second best home run ballpark in baseball.
Coors.
You're right.
And
exactly.
Then he comes back
The Chris
around
Davis
July.
sandbox.
Yeah, for a little bit. And he comes back in July and will be in the rotation, and I don't know. I think he's going to be a pretty darn good fantasy pitcher.
Hey, you know best, Ben. How quickly will Grayson Rodriguez be up?
I think he'll be up in a couple weeks. I think he's going to do 2 to 3 starts, 4 starts at most in AAA, absolutely wreck the place. And then once he hits some sort of deadline so that the Orioles are able to get another year of control or whatever games they're playing, then he'll be up.
Oh, by the way, Curlin says, sorry, guys, lost signal. Thanks for having me. This is Curlin. I already knew it. It's called Gaining the Edge. Make sure you subscribe to Gaining the Edge if you haven't. That's Mike Curlin's if you want to get the edge. I like that. That's cool. Also, Sound Money says, you don't think the Rays will be drinking mead? Anybody?
Zing! He'll be platooned with Yandy.
Oh, my God. Okay, I think that's a sign the show is done. Thank you so
Before
much,
you get outta
everybody.
here,
What
so,
else, Chad?
yeah,
I'm sorry. Yes.
You should plug the special deal FTN has going on right now for opening day.
Oh, yeah. What is our opening day deal? Do you know? Because I don't.
It is
$249
use
for a
promo
year.
code opening day to get 25% off your subscription.
Oh, shit. Yeah, Brock, what's the word on that?
I know it's the yearly package is $249 right now for the whole year, and that gets you just like absolutely everything.
It gets a lot of people. Maddie Davis and Vlad and Eric Cross is there now, and Chris Meany and Amy and Brock and so many guys. We got a bunch of people there. And then there's the whole baseball guide with people that chime in and give you the predictions. Thanks for bringing that up, Chad. You're always such a supporter. And you can use my promo code MJGovia if you want. Save some money along the way. FTNFantasy.com. There's a Discord, too, that connects to that. That's included. I think that's really one of the best parts of the subscription at FTN Fantasy is you get that Discord where you can talk with all the analysts in real time every day. And, of course, we cover DFS all year long, right, Brock? It's going to be nonstop.
And you know what's great about the Discord, too, is there are some really sharp members in there. I know from personal experience from NBA. I jump in the Discord when I was playing NBA DFS. And even if none of the guys were in there, there's a couple of the subs in there that were some of the best NBA DFS players that are out there. And so maybe their little name wasn't green or anything like that, but definitely people you could ask questions and get some good information from there. So, just underline that the Discord is huge. But yeah, $69 a month or whatever, $250 for the season. But that's like all the baseball, everything, DFS, fantasy. I mean, that's a huge package for $250.
It's a fine deal, folks. It is. Sports Ethos, Joe Orico. What do we need to know?
Well, you guys can check out the website at sportsethos.com. You guys, we have a ton of different sports. Obviously, basketball is winding down and football is not around. So it's pretty much just baseball. It is time for baseball. So go hover over the MLB tab on the website. Get yourself a draft guide. You can check out the podcast as well that I do. You guys can find the links there. And over on my Twitter, you can see here on the screen if you're listening on the pod, at Joe Orico 99. We get all the podcast links there. You mentioned Eric Cross. He was my guest yesterday. We went through a ton of rookies, had a great time. So
yeah, I listened to that.
Definitely go check it out. Yeah, it was a lot of fun having Eric on. And a lot of fun having you on last week as well, Govier.
Yeah, me, you, and Bogman had a blast. That was a lot of fun talking. The ADP battles, that's what I wanted to mention earlier when you first showed up. As Brian says, T-Mobile, free MLB TV this week if you have T-Mobile. It's always good to have these little hints. We talked about ADP battles, and one of them was Iglesias versus Helsley as a closer. And then the next day, the word came down that Iglesias would, not be in major trouble, but he had some shoulder discomfort. So.
Yeah, it's going to have to be Helsley at this point, isn't it?
I'm sorry, Joe.
Not much of a battle anymore.
Well, I mean, it could still play out fine, but I just was worried about the pen more than him being hurt even. So that is not like I called that or anything, but that was just my concern that they got so many options in the Atlanta pen. And oh, shit. I got to get Russell on before we leave. Russell Van in, you squeezed it in, my friend. I have to give it to you.
Guys.
No, you're the man. Hey, Palazzo doesn't exist without you. The master of the Palazzo gift, Russell, the man. Armchair Roto is the website. Check out armchairroto.com. Russell writes his own stuff. He's got his own rankings and projections, and he can help you win all season long, just like Ray Butler can do the same thing. They just keep on coming in. Woo! Ray! Ray! What's up, guys?
What's up? Just got done drafting my main event.
Oh, shit. Instant analysis. Go.
A little weak offensively. I had the 6. I started Bichette, Verlander, Class A. So, pleased with the pitching staff. I've kind of pumped up Detmers a little bit. Clark Schmidt, Charlie Morton, Chris Sale. Little weak offensively outside of speed. I thought I did well in the reserve round, so we'll see. This is my 3rd year playing a main. I've come in 3rd both years so far. So I have to wait and see.
Nice. That's great. What did someone ask? Someone asked a question.
Where did Schmidt go?
Schmidt, I think I set the min on him. I think I had him 174.
Ooh. Is that the min? That's interesting. Oh, that's great. Hey, I hope you have a great season. I hope you win the overall. And since we're not in a league together, I can root for that. I don't care what happens in your league as long as we both get to win our leagues.
That's right. Appreciate it.
I see it. Yes.
Of course. And Russell, get on the record right now, Russell. Russell, give me a World Series winner. Come on.
Well, the Astros are going to win the World Series.
God damn it. All right, fine. Who's getting a home run tomorrow? Who hits a home run on opening day tomorrow, Russell?
Let's go Jake Fraley off Mitch Keller.
Yeah. Okay. Now you see, I feel like that was almost like directly for me because that sounds great. I would love to see a Drake Fraley dong. Mitch Keller sucks. Ray Butler, give me a World Series winner and a home run tomorrow.
Atlanta Braves. And I'll go. Let's see. Hold on. I'll go Trevor Larnach off Zach Greinke.
That's two for him. That's two for him.
Cleanup hitter.
That's so funny. That's the second Larnach home run call today. I don't know who it was earlier, but someone else said that. That's funny. Maybe that means everybody should start Zach Greinke tomorrow because he's going to dominate the Twins. That's what's going to happen. I'm telling you.
I'm pretty sure that was Justin that did it.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, hey, I'm so glad you guys showed up at the very end here. We were just wrapping up. I'm sorry to cut it short. I just got to get off. But, Ray, thanks for popping in. Russell, love you. You guys are the best. Everybody here has been on the show tonight. Everybody participated. Everybody in the live chat made this a wonderful opening day eve Bozo Fest. Second annual. It's a lot of fun. I want to thank all you guys for being here. I think you should read Ben at Pitcher List, right, Ben? We know that.
Pitcherlist.com.
We haven't talked about that already.
Yeah. Also sign up for PL Plus or PL Pro and get access to our.
It's great.
Get access to our Discord and all the fun stuff we do, like daily stream. We'll be doing daily streaming projections, weekly streaming projections, all kinds of fun stuff. That's only if you're PL Pro. But the Discord's super fun, and come hang out with us and do cool stuff. And if you don't want to sign up for that, that's fine. Just visit the site, read the articles. I'll be doing my hitter streaming article every week starting this Sunday, where I talk about the hitters that you should be starting this week. So yeah. Or don't. I'm not a cop. I can't tell you what to do.
Who gives a shit? Yeah.
Don't visit the site.
It's your life.
I care. Not my site.
Yeah. Live free or die hard. That's what I say. Chad, thank you for doing all you did today, Chad. It's the best. You supported the show. I'm so glad we got to do this in person. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. It's been great to be here. Check us out over on the Twitch channel starting next Saturday. Every Saturday, we're going to have new content. I'm working on guests. I actually was planning to reach out to Mr. Ben over here to invite him onto the show.
Ooh.
Hell yeah, dude. I'll do anything.
Okay.
And we're going to be doing some fun and creative things this year.
I'll try anything once. I'm a slut for content.
And before I go, I just want to say how great it is that we live in a world where Liam Hendricks is going to win Comeback Player of the Year without ever being gone.
What a perfect way to wrap up. Chad's Bozo takes are always on the edge, and he thinks for himself. He always has. Ray Butler, Russell, thanks for popping in. Brock, everybody, Joe, happy opening day, everybody. I'm out of here. Palazzo Podcast, 2 L's, 2 Z's.
Utah.
We'll see you on Twitter and the World Wide Web tomorrow. Everybody have a great season. That's right, Russell. Say loud, say proud.